This week, in Burlingame, California, a recently released murderer comes to visit his estranged wife and leaves quite the trail along the way. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks. Thank you. Can't thank you enough for joining us again on an insane, crazy journey this week. And guys, we have to tell you this week, this is part one of a two-parter. And it's part one isn't just like backstory and then part two is murder. There is so much murder through this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I have to give you a special warning. This isn't our normal, like, haha disclaimer. This is serious. This is a graphic tale. There is horrible descriptions of absolutely disgusting things of a violent nature, of a sexual nature, horrible graphic shit, described by the person. And it's not for the faint of heart. Let's just say that. So, just get that out of the way. I'm sure you've heard worse, probably. I mean, if you listen to Jeffrey Dahmer's story,
right.
I don't think anything could top that, but it's goddamn disgusting. Okay. Let's just say that. But, that out of the way. Thank you guys so much for everything this week. Your iTunes reviews, they are important to us. Your Apple Podcast, whatever you want to call it, the purple icon.
You guys are really good to us.
Thank you so much for those. They really do help us out a lot. They drive us up the charts. So if you want to help us out, please do that if you haven't done it yet. Give us 5 stars. Like we said, drives us up the charts. It feeds iTunes' funky algorithm. You can go over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Very nice place to go. All the information on the show, things you can get like merchandise for everything Small Town Murder and Crime and Sports.
Sure.
If you're not listening to Crime and Sports, I don't know what you're doing. You're really missing. There's a party going on in another room, and you really want to party.
There's coke
and
everywhere.
You're just like sitting there going, I wish someone would ask me to party. And there's a huge party that you're welcome to in the next room, and you don't even know about it. So get your butt over there.
I wish someone would ask me to party. That's
what they're wanting. And we're right over there. It's a huge party. Yeah. We're having a ball. So, listen to Crime and Sports. You can get all the merchandise there. Also, get your tickets to live shows, especially the one coming up next week. If you're listening the day this comes out, it's a week from today. West Palm Beach, Florida at the West Palm Improv.
Boy, I can't wait.
It's going to be an awesome show. So check that out. It's going to be, people we know are going to be there. So we have to put on a good show. We really got to show off. So it's going to be a good one. So come out to that. Tell you that right now. And everything like that. Also, of course, we have to thank our wonderful, wonderful producers. Who are amazingly good to us. Thank you guys so much. You keep us really going. We appreciate it. We're going to give you the long list of those people at the end of the show. If you'd like to be one of those people, it's not that hard to do. You can go over to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal and you can make a donation there using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Yes.
And all those links are available through where, Jimmy?
Over at shutupandgivememurder.com.
You got it, my friend. That out of the way. We have to do the disclaimer quickly. This is a comedy podcast. The facts, everything is real. The cases are real. Everything, all the facts are, you might as well be Dateline. It's all real, except I think we do better research. I'm not just gonna, I don't know. I'm going to put that out there, but never mind. So it's
Lester
all real.
Holt works more on the delivery.
I'm sure he does. Yes. He's got a script and a teleprompter that people have put together.
His delivery is more important than the fucking research.
I got to be able to cram a dick joke in there. So we lead different lives.
Right.
Let's just put it that way.
Lester's dick joke is on his face.
That's right, goddammit. So, but it's a comedy podcast. We're going to make jokes. We're comedians. That's what we do. So we make jokes at expensive small towns because we're all from some shithole small town that it's all, they all suck.
Right.
That's what it is. We're going to make fun of that.
Lester Holt's the black guy. He's not the nutsack face.
No, you're thinking of, I can't remember his name. And when you said Lester Holt, I pictured the other guy for some reason too. I don't know why.
Wrinkly nutsack face.
Because Holt sounds like a nutsack face name. I don't understand it. So
sorry. That's the
so
worst.
Anyway, we make fun of small towns, bumbling police forces. We make fun of the murderer. I mean, what else can we do as comedians? We have no recourse against these people legally or anything else.
Right.
What we try not to do, what we go out of our way not to do, is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
Right.
So if that sounds good to you, then we are going to have a ball.
Yes.
And this is going to be gross this episode, but we're still going to find a way to have some kind of fun in between the grossness.
Right.
And if that doesn't sound good to you, if you think true crime and comedy just don't go together, then bye, have a good one.
Then yours.
This probably isn't going to work out, and it's we had a drink, we ordered appetizers, and we realized we were not compatible.
Keith Morrison has a great story for you on Friday.
I'm sure, and it'll be good. So go do that. But for everybody else who's out there, let's do this. Shout it out from the rooftops, from your cubicle, from out your car window. Yeah. Unless you're in a conservative office, then go into the bathroom and say it into your arm like you're sneezing, like a child sneezing. Say, "Shut up and give me murder." Let's do this. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
All right.
What do you say here? This week we're going to go back to the West Coast. We were in Oregon a couple weeks ago, and we're going to go back to the West Coast. We haven't been in California for a while, and we're going to California.
Yeah,
we're going to Burlingame, California,
just south of Oregon.
It is actually, just south of Oregon. Very good.
And they are suspended.
They are suspended.
This is not Oregon.
No. Willamette. So, Burlingame, California. And the episodes we've done in California have been like, the one was kind of right on the border with Nevada, but that was over on the eastern side, the Herb Coddington one there.
Oh, yeah.
That one was there.
That was gross.
And then we did the one down by, in the riverside all the way down there with our last one, Canyon Lake.
Right.
We were there. And now we're going up northwestern Bay Area.
Okay.
So we're going different parts of the state.
Spreading it out.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things where like California has a lot of murders because there's a shitload of people there. Yeah. There's more people in California than like 35 states put together. Right. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
So,
well, also if you've ever driven,
there's a lot of murders. So if you wonder why we were doing another
long distance through California, just looking at street signs and stuff, you can go, something happened right here. Just by looking at a word there, you go, what happened right here? It's crazy how much shit has happened in California. It's not just good, but also horribly bad.
By an ocean, and it has natural resources, so people have been there forever. This is in Northern California, near the Bay Area, like we said, 25 minutes outside of San Francisco. This is like suburban San Francisco, so it's going to be expensive, as we know. An hour and 45 minutes to Sacramento, as we made that drive. 7 hours to Canyon Lake, which was episode 70, which was the
7 hours.
Yeah, which was that's all the way down south, which was
huge.
The woman killing the Golden Girls, as we remember, which
in the
was
gated community,
in the gated community, in the gated town. Gated town. If you haven't listened to that episode,
it's nuts.
It is bonkers. Listen to that episode
from beginning to end.
Brutal and weird, and it's just weird, man. This is in San Mateo County, zip code 94010, area code 650. It's 6 square miles. About 4.5 of that is land. There's a bunch of what's on the water, so there's water also. The motto of this town, there's a couple mottos. They have two, actually. It's kind of, I feel like one is just kind of what for the residents, and one's for tourists.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those, I feel like. First motto, this is like for the residents, is just the city of trees.
Oh.
Which I don't know if that's
fucking dumb.
Trees are nice. I like trees, but I don't know.
Live in one. What are they, fucking Smurfs?
It's that's what I picture too. I picture little tree houses that people are like the Keebler elves.
What is
Smurfs live in mushrooms, I think, don't they? Yeah, the elves live in trees.
Yeah. You're right.
We're making cookies in the tree. Right. Yeah, we gotta get our tiny cartoon character straight here.
Avatar was in the trees.
I never saw it.
No,
I can't watch it.
It was a city in the trees. It was dumb.
Boring as shit.
It was dumb.
Yeah, I can't connect.
I
can't connect with CGI people. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I try, but my brain knows it's not real, and I don't care. And
Have you seen Star Wars?
I can't watch Star Wars.
Same thing. I don't connect with that either.
I saw the episode 1. I took my little brother to it in the theater when it was out back in the day, and I fell asleep during the pod race. That's how little I give a shit. I passed out during the most fucking action in the whole movie. I was like, I was snoring. I can't stand it.
Not the most new one. The one right before that. I fell asleep in that.
I can't. I don't let anything in space or underwater. I can't watch. I'm bored.
Underwater, I can watch if it's like not like Finding Nemo.
I can't watch submarine movies. Okay. I'm bored as hell with a submarine movie. I'm like, you're just in a tube under there.
If it's riveting and funny.
If they're trapped in an airplane, I can't. There's just no chance to expand anything. You're just in there. So
your chance of expanding the plot is fucked.
It's fucked. Right. So there's the city of trees, and also this is one's for the tourist. Bay Area minus the bum feces. So I feel like
terrific.
That'll attract
marketing.
people. I feel like, I mean. call them bums. That's not really nice. They could have said homeless person's feces, I'm sure, but whatever. So history of this town, Burlingame here. It's situated on land previously owned by very rich people. Sure. A San Francisco-based merchant named. Listen to how many names he has. That tells you he's rich right there. If you have more than 3 names, you're wealthy. Yeah. How many names do you have?
3.
3. There you go. Unless it's like Joe Don or something in the middle. Like unless you're like Robert Joe Don something or some shit like that. Words that go together. This is William Davis Mary Howard. Mary, like Christmas.
Really? That's the third name. Second middle name.
Which is probably, I'm sure, when rich people, spit kids out, they put like the one person's maiden name. Their rich family has to be in there too. So that way every fucking rich twat face in the whole, every rich douche fuck has to know in the whole radius, he's from two rich families. I respect them. Yes. They're all very wealthy.
I had a friend in high school named Chris John. That was his first name.
Chris John?
Kristjon. First name.
That's not a name.
Then he had a middle name, and his last name was a hyphenated last name.
No.
Lindgren Osborne.
No. Waving him off.
We called him KJ.
No, I'm blowing the whistle, throwing the flag, personal foul, naming your kid a terrible name.
We abbreviated that whole shit to KJ. He's a great kid.
I'm sure.
It's just fascinating that,
he didn't like it, I'm sure.
And it's not his fault.
He didn't want that many names. You can't choose it.
But you can't just white trash stamp this whole shit.
You can't pump that many names into a child. Just decide.
And he had a middle name.
Pick things. You want a hyphen? 5. You want a hyphen? That's fine. But then you can't give him 2 first names. I get it if you both want credit, whatever. Right. But you can't have 2 first names.
And he should have deleted his dad's name out of the whole equation because his dad was deleted himself out of the equation.
You just solved the whole problem.
He got to just delete his middle name and his dad's last name, Kristjon Osbo. Done.
Yeah, done.
Solved.
Jesus Christ.
I'm a problem solver.
We just did it. It's over. That kid has a better life in one fell swoop. Yeah. So, William Davis Mary Howard, he planted a shitload of eucalyptus trees on his property, and that's kind of how it became the city of trees. He moved there to retire with his young wife. So he's a rich guy who has a young wife and said, we're moving out to this, what was then the country, this is in the 1800s, to retire and plant eucalyptus trees and relax.
Is he bringing koalas or he just likes the tree?
No, just bringing the trees in and planting them and sitting there and, I don't know, having sex with his wife a lot, I guess. If she's into it, I'm not sure. She might not want him.
Listen, it was a long time ago.
We don't know.
She doesn't have a choice.
That's the other thing in back in the 1800s, really. Right. He eventually bought out his partner, a Henry Mellis, which is a terrible last name. Mellus. It's a bad last name. He was planning to just retire there, and then he died 8 years later.
Molested?
William Davis Mary Howard.
Oh, no.
He died, and they divided his estate up into thirds. They gave a third to his young wife, Agnes, there. Mm-hmm. They gave a third to his son, William Henry Howard. God damn it. Yeah. Well, and 1/3 to his father-in-law. For some reason. I don't know. There's some kind of delayed dowry. I'm not sure. Delayed reverse dowry. I'm not sure how that works.
I'm not real liquid now, but when I die, you could have a third.
You know what? How about a third of my eucalyptus trees? Listen, pal. I know your daughter's kind of young. I'm an older guy, but I tell you what, you like eucalyptus?
All my money's tied up in it right now.
It's all tied up in eucalyptus.
The market for eucalyptus is about to skyrocket.
I'd like to help you out, but I'm really all tied up in the eucalyptus market right now. I apologize. You know how that goes.
I am balls deep in eucalyptus.
You know how that goes. Jesus Christ.
I'd rather be balls deep in your daughter.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Eucalyptus, you know what I'm saying? But that's how it goes. So I'd like to, if you give me your permission, I'll be balls deep in both. You know what I'm saying? Big guy, wink, wink. Yeah, that's right. So,
and so will you when I die.
You know how that goes. So in 1856, the land was sold to a banker named William Ralston, and then he named the land in 1868 after his friend Anson Burlingame, who was the United States ambassador to China. So,
really?
Yeah, and apparently that's who this town is named after. There's also a Burlingame of a previous episode,
right,
if you remember. So
that was a terrible one too.
That was a guy who on Thanksgiving butchered his whole family there. Right. She went around shooting his whole family.
At the table?
Not at the table, just around the house.
It wasn't at the breakfast table? The mom was the teacher, that one?
No.
God,
this was the father. They got a divorce and all that, and he parked like 2 blocks away.
Oh, yeah.
And some nosy neighbor said, "There's a car outside." Isn't that? And called the cops in small towns. It's where like, this is such a small town murder.
Right.
In the city, you could park somewhere. No one goes, "Hey, there's a car outside." Like, yeah, there's a lot of cars outside. Shut up. Mind your own business. In a small town, 1 car.
4 million people here. There's cars fucking everywhere.
1 car. That's reason to call the police department just because it's parked there.
Right.
I don't know whose it is. 911. So, so the town of, in 1906 was the great San Francisco earthquake.
Right.
That really fucked a lot of things up and also scared the shit out of a lot of people.
Right.
And, a lot of people, ran to the suburbs and ran outside of San Francisco.
Moving inland.
And moved to Burlingame. Not inland. This is down by the
20 minutes in.
But it's just not inland. It's down, it's on the water.
Oh, no. So they just went south?
They just went, away from it. But it's away from there. It was less destroyed. And so they started building a lot of homes. It was like, well, let's go somewhere and rebuild. This place is literally on fire.
Yeah.
The most of it's on fire. Right. We should go somewhere else, which would have been a great time to swoop in and buy some prime real estate. My God.
There's another coming. Don't worry.
Jesus. I know I'm saving my money.
1906 and then 1986?
It was 89.
89.
The World Series.
Yeah. That's
Giants,
right. Yeah. So you're talking about 83 years. We're 40 years. We're close.
We'll never know.
Close.
So, I don't know. So, in 1910, the neighboring town of Easton, they annexed that, and that was also, they added some parts to Burlingame from that. Okay. And Burlingame, known as the City of Trees, like we said, due to its over 18,000 public trees in the city. So there's a lot. Public trees, they plant them, like in the street, like when you plant sidewalk trees, like in New York City.
Is that a public tree?
It's a public tree. It doesn't belong to...
Anybody?
You don't, if you live in the house in front of a sidewalk tree, it's not up to you to keep, to prune it and shit. The city does that.
Okay. Okay. City-owned tree.
It's a city tree, damn it. Yeah.
Okay,
so city-owned tree. Yeah. Not a public tree.
So I don't want to.
Like a public park.
Right.
It's a public tree. Climb it if you want.
Got it. Okay.
You don't need anyone's permission to climb up that bad boy.
The word public park implies that there's ownership on everybody, and that's what I was thinking. Do we all have to fucking take turns pruning this fucking thing?
Well, it's a round robin system where you go. There's a chart. There's a phone tree.
Chart.
Well, there's a phone tree. We'll get you involved in it. Don't worry. We'll talk about it after the show. Somebody out there send Jimmie the phone tree information. So, they had 18,000 public trees. In 1908, the Board of Trustees passed an ordinance prohibiting cutting, injuring, or destroying trees.
Okay.
So once a tree is planted, that shit is planted.
Yeah.
That's it. It's in there. They also have a lot of parks and eucalyptus groves. They made this like a different kind of place. They didn't want this to be like a city with just concrete. This was a place for trees. There currently people here. There is 30,459, which is right at the top of our limit. But this happened about 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So there was less anyway. It's up 14% since 1990, which is around when we're going to talk about in that particular town. Median age here is about 40, 3 years older than normal, except it's not out of whack. It's a lot of times when we have that it'll be like a lot of old people. It's more like everyone's about 48. It's one of those things. Like, you need a lot of money to move here. We'll talk about it. It's expensive. So it's one of those things where the 35-year-old to 54-year-old demographic is higher than normal, and the 0, baby to 10-year-old demographic is high.
Okay.
So it's a lot of people that are 35 to 54 with money move out of the city to go here and have their kids.
Got it.
So they can, have a dog or some shit. I don't know what they're doing.
Tacky people that don't want to be in the city.
Exactly. Because it's only 25 minutes outside. Right. What the hell? Yeah. Female population a little higher than male population, a little out of whack there, which is whatever. Married population normal, it's about 50-50. Everything's kind of normal. Widowed is normal. Single with children. It's very typical in terms of demographics. Single people with no children, single people with children, all that type of thing. The only thing that's out of whack is the money, which we'll talk about. It's crazy here. It's wow. Racially, the town normally white on the average is 62.77. Here, 59.49.
How about that?
So we rarely get a town with less white people than normal in a small town, but 1.06% black.
It's It's not them.
It's not. That's not who's here. 20.63% Asian, which is by far the highest amount we've ever had of Asians, because it's outside of San Francisco.
Yeah.
So it's a high Asian population.
Market.
Yeah. Normally it's about 5%. So and also a lot of tech shit and business shit's there, and it's there's a lot going on. So Hispanic is about 13%. So it's a pretty diverse area when it comes to that. But one thing everyone has in common, besides there's not a lot of black people, is they all have money also.
Okay.
About 47% are religious, which is right about normal. Most of the people here are Catholic, actually, which is strange.
That is interesting.
Catholics, the Baptists of the Bay Area, I guess. I don't know. That's a question mark.
Yeah. Who knows?
I'm not positive about that, but that's the only thing with a huge high population. 0.8% Jewish.
Oh,
almost.
God damn it.
Almost got to sing Have a Nagila,
close.
but I'm sorry, I cannot do it. 1% of an Eastern faith. So that would be Buddhist or Hindu or that sort of thing. 0.6% Islam.
How about that?
So a little bit of that too, a little bit of Islam. It's a liberal place, about in the county, San Mateo County. 75% of the people, almost 76%, voted Democrat in the last election. About 18% voted Republican. So
California.
Well, this is also like Bay Area, California. It's a different. That's like very liberal California. Unemployment rate here is it's less than 3%, 2.6%. So there are jobs here, and you have to have one, otherwise you can't afford to live here. So I think that's what it is, basically. But 2.6% is like when economists talk about what's healthy, that's below that's when things start to go bad, is when your unemployment rate is too low.
Really?
Yeah, because you can't fill jobs at that point.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, the unemployment.
But this sounds like it's probably just 16-year-olds that held over until 17 to get that job.
Maybe, yeah, that's possible too. Yeah, like 2.6% when they start saying like, okay, we need an influx of more people because there's not enough. There's a bunch of like square pegs and round holes left over, where they're like, okay, there's 2.6% of the people that don't fit into these jobs, but that's all it is. We don't have the people we need to fill it. Yeah. The median household income, normally it's about $54,000 in the country. Here it is $91,000. So much higher, obviously, and they need it, as we'll talk about. A lot of the jobs here are, there's tech jobs, professional, scientific, technical services is about 3 times the average. So high paying things. Also healthcare ranks up pretty high, that sort of thing. Cost of living. 100 is average, regular, par. Here, this is the highest we've ever had.
2 something?
So, shit.
Go on.
Shit. 100 is average. Here it is $4.59.
What is
$4.59?
How do you even survive?
Let's see here. Every groceries are a 110 and things like that, and they're pretty normal. The transportation's a little high. It's in the 100 still, though. But housing is 1,231.
It is
out
10
of 100.
times higher than everywhere else. It is average.
Median home cost here $2,301,600. 216 is the average in the country. Yeah, but, so it's 10 times that. I don't even know what to say about that. Even if you're making $90,000 a year, you can't afford a $2.3 million house.
How do you fucking make it?
You'll have a $300,000 house, which doesn't exist here. So
this is insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy time. That's how nuts real estate's gone in Northern California.
Say that median house price again.
$2,301,600.
No.
I don't even know.
No. Fucking justify it, Burlingame.
Well,
justify it.
People are paying it. That's how they justify it. These houses are selling.
That is ridiculous.
68% of the houses are worth $1 million or more. So
unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. And if we've convinced you, if you've got quite the nest egg and you need to go there.
If you've got more money than sense, let me kick you in the dick and then listen to James.
And then listen to the Burlingame, California Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here. This is crazy. It's normally like $1,200, $1,240, $5,010. for a 2-bedroom. I found a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo that's 880 square feet.
Yeah.
It is the cheapest dwelling for sale in this entire town. $675,000 to live in a very small 1-bedroom apartment.
For 800 square feet.
For 880 square feet.
I want to go beat the living shit out of whoever is selling that.
Yeah, just I'd like to look at your place. This is real nice, and then just jack them right in the face, leave them for dead in the bathtub.
Asking, how dare you?
Sorry, there's no bathtub in the stand-up shower because that's all there's fucking room for. I found a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,650 square feet. Nice little house, very clean, little yard, little, not that huge. 1,650 square feet, but it all looks very compact.
Yeah.
$1,799,000 for this little gem.
I want to be sick.
That's insane.
I want to be sick. We haven't even gotten to the gross story yet.
And then, it's buckle up. I found a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, 3,400 square foot beauty. This is a nice house, nice layout, and it'll cost you $3,595,000.
It's fucking ridiculous.
So there you go. Things to do here. This is maybe the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I have 2 dogs, Benny and Frankie, and I love them, but I would never do this.
Okay.
This is the Burlingame Pet Parade.
Oh, Christ.
No.
Yeah.
It starts at 10 a.m. They march up Broadway.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. They do a circle and come back.
Yeah.
The parade consists of a leisurely stroll that takes about 30 minutes. Broadway will remain closed to through traffic for another hour after the parade, when viewers and participants can enjoy music by participating bands, shop at local stores, and enjoy a snack at a restaurant.
Can you imagine the novelty dogs that people that can afford a $2 million house?
Oh, they're so groomed.
Dogs.
Judging will take place during and after the parade. Judges will select approximately 6 finalists from each category. And would you like to find out what those categories are?
I would.
The
biggest pretentious cunt.
First place is $500. Second place is $250. Okay. Ribbons will be awarded for the best dressed pet.
Oh, Jesus.
The most unusual pet. No specific. Best pet trick. Best school float. As they make floats also. Most original float, group or wagon category. I don't know what that is. A float can be elaborate or as simple as a decorated bicycle or wagon. Okay, so hit that up.
I'm annoyed.
$2 million houses and that.
And that
you just want to go around punching people in this town. Hey, you from Burlingame?
Right.
Have you lived there since before the real estate boom?
Right.
Okay, then I won't punch you.
Yeah.
Have you moved there in the last 10 years and just attack them? You son of a bitch.
I hate you.
I don't get it. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in here, the property crime here is right on average. So that's normal. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. The Mount Rushmore of crime is about half the average. So they're going to lock shit down when there's that much money around.
Yeah.
When you kill people who live in $3 million houses, they find you.
They notice.
They fucking find you. Unless you're a rapper. They find you.
One.
Yeah, unless you're fucking any rapper basically. They never find. I read a whole book about the whole Tupac and Biggie and this guy that was a police officer on the whole thing. And they know who did all this. They're just like, I don't know, whatever.
Who gives a shit?
They shoot each other all the time. You know those people, and I feel like that's all it is in the whole. It's ridiculous. It's fucking crazy. So
I want to take a 3-legged pit bull with no eyes, like a dog that was used as a bait dog.
Yeah.
And I want to walk that shit down the street of this town in their dumb parade.
It's a nice gesture to adopt one of those dogs anyway.
I want one.
Yeah, they're
that
poor things.
dog.
Jesus.
I want that, and I want to horrify the people in this town.
Yeah, you better not give it most unusual and hurt its feelings, motherfucker.
Better give me most interesting pet.
So let's talk about some murders.
Okay.
What do you say here? And I say murderers because there's murderers. That's why this is a 2-parter. Because there's just too much to do in one episode. To cram it all into one episode would have just been, there's no room to breathe if we did that. It would have been way too much. It would have just been, I'm going to read real fast through the whole thing and here you go and blah, 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 blah. Here's a bunch of information. So we're going to need to ingest this and then it gets crazy. And then we also, in the second episode, we're going to deal with even more murder, and then we're going to deal with the post-murder shit, which is when it really takes off into
the trial and stuff?
And prison and everything like that.
Right.
But this part here, like we said, the whole thing, this is very graphic and extremely disturbing shit.
Okay.
So you're warned. No complaining. Because I had to, I was not... This was not okay to research.
Take breaks?
I had to take some breaks reading all of this at once. That's why I said we need to do 2 parts, because I can't handle it all at once. So let's talk about some people. Let's talk about some siblings to start out with. Let's talk about Patsy, who's a girl, Albert, who's a boy, obviously. Albert, not too many girls named Albert.
Very few.
And Patsy's only Italian guys named Pat that they call Patsy, right. With some like Italian version.
Or Irish.
These Pasquale, and they call him Patsy. Right. That's how it is, because I have relatives named Pasquale. They call him Pat. Well, they call him Pat.
Right.
That's what.
When you're drunk, Pasquale doesn't come out.
No, that's why they always call Pasquale's Pat.
Right.
Anyway, so and also Philip and Philip.
Is that you? It never stops.
He's doing all that gun, man. Yeah, it never stops. We have to do the Beverly Hills Cop.
Every time I hear Philip,
just look up Beverly Hills Cop Philip scene, and I'm sure it'll come up.
And you'll lose your mind how funny it is.
It's fucking hilarious. So this Philip, not so hilarious. Philip Carl Jablonski. These are the Jablonski children. These people are a goddamn fucking disastrous mess. They're growing up. Jesus Christ, this is awful. They're growing up like in the 50s and the 40s, and there's different accounts of the childhoods here, of this specifically Philip's childhood, but I'll give you both accounts, and you can kind of figure out
piece together on your own
what you think is true or not, but there's different accounts. The sister Patsy, she says that her father, and so this is also what Philip says, their father was an abusive alcoholic. There's no doubt that the father was an alcoholic and that he was a rough guy. Okay. And nobody doubts that. But to the extent of it is very much in question. Very much in question, and very much contrary stories from different people.
Okay.
So Patsy here says that he was an abusive alcoholic who beat the shit out of his wife and children. She says he called his wife and daughter whores all the time and beat them. Yeah. This is bad from the start, and this isn't even the bad shit. This is baseline here. Grabbed his daughter's breasts and would grab the breasts of his daughter's girlfriends when they would come over.
Just like, what is that?
Walk by and touch them, and so it got to the point, obviously, where none of her friends wanted to come over anymore because the awful, abusive, alcoholic father was touching them, apparently.
Just come over and shake your titty.
Yeah, and apparently when he would have sex with his wife, he would beat her or choke her against her will and shit like that. And,
right.
Put his hands over her nose and stuff, and, whatever. He got off on that shit. Okay. He's sadistic, this fucking guy. Also, Phil was... from what the sister says, the most frequently beaten child. He got the brunt of everything. Yeah. He would try to come between his father and mother when they were fighting to try to get to the father to not hit the mother.
And then he'd get his ass kicked.
He'd get his ass kicked worse. And they said that Philip and Patsy and Albert would often run away and hide from their father until the whole thing blew over. As alcoholics, eventually he's going to sleep it off.
Right.
And the mother would tell them there was a signal she had that it was safe to come back to the house. This is crazy. Now, some people, like we said, contradict this, but this is what 2 of the 3 siblings say anyway. The violence within the family, they said it was pretty much every day. Yeah. The police were frequently called to the house, is what Patsy says, but they refused to intercede because it was back in the day. It's the 40s and 50s. Yeah. They were like, well, it's happening inside your house. He works so hard.
Right.
He works hard.
What'd you do?
He comes home. Yeah, no, well, try not to make him angry, and they fucking leave back.
What'd
cheer
you
up,
say
bitch.
To him?
Cheer up, bitch, and they leave. That's what it was back then. That's what cheer up, bitch is the most fucking, it overlays
brilliant thing.
Everything that the attitude toward how they treated like just women if they had a problem back then. It was just cheer up, bitch. I don't know. You don't have man problems, so cheer up and go away.
Imagine how shitty your life would be if he left. Imagine that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well,
then what are you going to do?
Does he put food on the table?
Right.
Well, he works hard. That's what they would say, and it was fucking ridiculous. So they would refuse to do anything about it to protect the mother. Also, the father was cruel to animals. Very cruel to animals.
They usually are.
They said he always carried a gun with him, which is wonderful, and that he would brandish the gun at his children.
Eesh.
Also, as he scolded them, so he would hold a gun on his daughter and call her a whore. So and grab her tit after.
Right. And then her friend tit.
And then her friend's tits, too, and I'm sure call them whores as well.
Right.
This is fucking bonkers.
What are you going to do about it, whore?
This is quite the household to grow up in
really
here. This is wild. Tell the kids that they're worthless, also. Telling them they didn't deserve to be born, and that maybe they don't deserve to live, and maybe I'll shoot you because you don't deserve to live. Right. So that's a really fucked up situation to
and then on top of it, to like the added humiliation of like shaking your titty like that.
Yeah, and then he's going to touch you
silly,
on top
but
of it.
it's
No,
like,
it's not silly at all.
No, I mean,
it's scary.
It sounds stupid because what does that
compared
do?
to a gun?
It's a feeling.
It's a control
inside.
thing.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Oh God,
trying to own every bit of
ruins,
you.
Right, it ruins your everything and makes you think you can't do anything. That guy's always more powerful than me.
That's exactly what this guy's trying to do, and it's funny how what ends up happening. Half the time, half the time not. Half the time people are protective and go the other way, and then a lot of times that behavior perpetuates,
right.
and whoever you do that to, right. It's fucking awful. So, according to Patsy, Phil was sexually molested by, and like I said, this is awful. So don't nobody be surprised here. Sexually molested by a neighbor when he was 4 or 5 years old. She also claims the same neighbor molested her.
Okay.
She said that 2 neighborhood children, Dale and Janice Rearick, were present when the molestation occurred.
Okay.
So she claims it was witnesses to this.
Is their dad?
No, this is the neighbor.
Right.
No, it's not their dad. These were just neighborhood kids.
They were just around too?
I don't know what the hell kind of weird thing was going on.
This is bizarre.
It's very bizarre. Patsy described Phil as a quiet kid. She said she also had Albert, she described as like the goody two shoes. Okay. He was the one who would try to be like, yeah, you don't need to hit me because I did everything right. He would try to please the father. He would try to appease him rather than Philip would try to challenge and say, don't hit mom and shit like that. Whereas, Albert apparently would be like, that's a good left hook you got there, Dad. You want to teach me that out in the yard someday?
He goes with the flow, whereas Philip tries to rectify the situation.
Yeah, that's kind of how she describes it. They said, though, that she said that then Phil would take his aggression out on Patsy and Albert. Because where's it going to go?
Right.
It's got to go somewhere, so shit rolls downhill. And
he's the baby?
No, Philip's the oldest.
Okay,
he's the oldest, and he would take it out on his younger siblings, which makes sense. Also, he would hit them when their parents were gone. Their parents went out, then Phil would be in charge, and he would be
the aggressor.
He'd be asked, he would take Dad's role, is what he would do, because that's the example he had, and there you go. He's a piece of shit also. So he would get upset when his parents were gone for a long time, even as a teenager. He would cry. Patsy said he would cry all the time. He was a big crier. He was very emotional, up and down. He told Patsy when he was a kid and his parents were, gone all night or something, quote, "They never loved me. They always hate me." So it's like he would cry and sob and say shit like that. They don't love me. That's why they're gone. They hate me. Like he was full of anxiety and everything like that. Apparently the Jablonskis were the poor family. They were the neighborhood poor family, like the poorest of the poor families. And this wasn't in an upper class area at the time. He's living in a lower middle class area, a poor area, and they're the poorest family there. That's never good. They're the poor family. The cops show up and the father's an alcoholic, and it's a fucking mess.
They're also perpetuating that poor lifestyle with the fucking behavior
they're just they're not exponential growth on shit behavior.
You don't, like, rich people rarely portray this behavior. You know what I mean?
Even when people
sometimes
are getting,
it happens, but it's rare.
It's more like the outwardly. They're not like they won't just beat their kids and scream out in the yard. You know what I mean? That shit'll be like hidden in a large home where you can't hear it. It's a different,
and it's rarely the family that. A successful family just doesn't have time for this shit.
That's the other thing. They're doing things, and there's usually not an abusive alcoholic stalking amongst them because he's busy, I guess, making money. I don't know.
And loading up his car to go to the lake house.
But then again, I'm sure there's plenty of fucking rich people who are very awful and abusive and shitbags. They think they're above the law. So who the hell knows what we're talking about? So anyway, they're the poorest. So everybody that grew up around him basically described the father as a, quote, brutal gun-carrying alcoholic who regularly abused his wife and children and was cruel to animals. That's him in a nutshell.
Apart from that last couple of sentences, sounds like a pretty cool dude.
And then it goes into to this. One person said that the father was the meanest man he ever knew. Wow. This is later when he's an adult, when he's 50 years old. He said that
says that
was the meanest man I've ever known.
I've gone 50 years now, and looking back,
he's the worst.
That's the worst one.
That's the worst.
Saw him early.
He didn't know Ted Bundy or anything,
right.
But he, whatever. So another person says that when they were a child, the father ran over this person's puppy and didn't even bother to stop.
Oh, just my God.
Kept on fucking going. Just didn't give a shit. Probably flicked a cigarette out the window afterwards and didn't care.
Did he drive through the parade?
I think it was during the pet parade. It was actually the winner's circle. Right. The puppy had just won. It was a three-legged puppy, and it had a trick that it did, where it did like a little pop spin thing, and it was the best trick, and it won. It was taking its victory lap.
Jesus Christ.
It's the saddest thing that's ever happened. This episode's actually about the puppy.
He had no back legs. He had a couple of wheels back there. Be awesome. And the car just ran.
Yeah, I hope they probably did good tricks. So they also said that he slaughtered chickens in a sadistic manner. Okay. Now, I don't know slaughtering a chicken's a pretty gross thing. That's
pretty sadistic.
But apparently I don't know if he like enjoyed it or would like take pleasure in it and was weird about it.
Didn't eat it afterwards.
I don't know what it was. Yeah, just did it and was just like, I didn't like that one. And throws it aside and lets it rot in the yard.
These breasts are too small.
He was looking at me. I hate it when they look at me. He also, once they had a pet pig that was their family pet for years. He killed it and made it for dinner.
Jesus.
So that traumatized the kids. He also would shoot and kill the neighbor's cats if they strayed onto his property.
Oh, that's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
That's
he would
a terrible human
put
being.
a fence up. I know cats can jump it, but it would discourage them a little. They might skirt the fence.
Yeah.
I don't know, but would shoot the neighbor's cats.
That's a complete. If you
He's a
do
psychopath.
that, can you just fucking stop? You're a monster.
He's a psychopath.
That's a horrible thing to do. My ex-wife's uncle has a pig and a potbelly pig on his ranch out in Queen Creek. He moved out to the middle of fucking nowhere so that he could have all these goddamn animals.
Yeah.
And his pig was burrowing under the fence. He fixed the fence all the time, but he went on vacation. The pig burrowed under the fence. The neighbor shot his fucking pig. You're an asshole.
Yeah, people are assholes. And the cats, that's terrible. It's obviously someone's pet, too.
That's something that's supposed to roam anyway.
A daughter-in-law, I think it was Albert's wife, one of Albert's ex-wives, said that the father grabbed her 1-month-old infant and fed it hot sauce just because he thought it was hilarious. Stuck the bottle of hot sauce.
That's pretty funny.
Abstractly, it's funny, but to actually do it is fucking crazy.
Right.
If somebody grabbed an infant from your arms and stuck hot sauce in your mouth, you'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You'd call the police on that person. You'd hit him in the head with something.
That's A, torture, and B, causing me a problem for later. I'm going to have to clean that
disgusting.
Up. Kid's either going to vomit or shit it out.
Screaming and shitting. That's
one way or another, I've got to fix this.
Screaming and shitting for hours. Appreciate that.
That's your kid for the next 2 days.
Yeah, they said that the people remembered that the kids and the mother would both hide from the father. The father would beat the shit out of Phil the most. One of the Janice Rearick person that we said that Patsy said witnessed the molestation. She grew up there. She said that she disagrees with this whole thing later on. She says she never saw the father beat any of the kids, but she did hear screaming coming from the house on occasion. She was a neighbor.
Well, what do you think that was?
And she also said, this woman said that the man who this Harold guy who the sister said molested both of them, this woman said that he didn't have a reputation as a child molester, because the way Patsy and Phil put it, everyone in the neighborhood knew he was a child molester.
Okay.
He was like the neighborhood molester.
Got it.
Hey, there's a neighborhood molester. How's it going? And this woman said that was never anything anybody heard. Nobody said to stay away from that guy, and he wasn't known as that, as any sort of diddler. And she said she did not witness that molestation described by Patsy. So she disagrees here.
And
yeah.
Molestation like that, when you experience it, sometimes you insert your brain disassociates, so she may not have been the one that witnessed it.
That's
this is
the
just
other
the point
thing.
I'm going to make. She may have put her there,
especially if you're a 5-year-old child, and it's years later.
In that girl's mind, she might be remembering her there. Somebody was there.
This is 25 years later. This is all coming up, so it's all who the fuck knows?
Your mind does crazy things,
especially with trauma, and especially with childhood trauma.
And in that particular sense of trauma. Right.
Your brain can play.
Horrible.
Your brain protects you.
Yeah.
It tries to protect your psyche with putting
your
better,
brain goes, this is gonna fuck you up so bad.
Oh,
later.
You don't need to know that. We're gonna go ahead and put that on the shelf. Put that in the room behind the little curtain. Right. There you go with the porn. Put that back there. So Albert also, he says that he disagrees and says the father did not abuse him or Phil, although he did use a belt as punishment, but that was normal back then. That was just like, getting the belt.
What the fuck is going on here?
So they said his father drank beer, or Albert says his father drank beer and was abusive toward the mother, and that Albert knew he knew the Harold guy, the neighbor, and said that Harold never tried to molest him, and he never heard that he tried to molest Philip or Patsy also. Okay, so there's disagreements there. Everybody says that as a teenager, Phil was a nice guy. He was quiet and kept to himself. Considered nice. He was very anxious, though. Everybody said he was very anxious, which kind of backs up Patsy and Phil's theory of the father, pulling guns out on them at the drop of a hat. That kind of make you anxious.
You generally don't turn into that guy. You know what I mean? You are made that guy.
Absolutely. Right. Kids don't come out like that. So one person said that he was, quote, scared all the time, just always scared. He'd burst into tears. Kids don't do that. No. They've been abused usually when that happens. Other people said that he was thin and pale and always ill looking as a child because they were very poor also and malnutrition, and that he was a lonely child who cried all the time. So that's what he was known as. One person did say, this is crazy, from their teenage years, one of their friends said that he saw Phil and his sister Patsy have consensual sex on 2 different occasions. And also said that the 2 of them bragged about it and thought it was, quote, funny.
It's funny. It's just not funny.
It's not ha-ha funny. I'll tell you that much.
That is horrible. I was associating with Philip a lot.
Well, you're not. He's not your kind of guy, Jimmie. Let's put it that way.
I understood everything going on in his mind, Jimmie, right up until let's fuck my sister.
That's that's why I warned everybody, because everybody's got their own shit that bothers them, and Jimmie has talked openly about his trauma,
plenty of issues
as a child, and there's a lot of that there going on, and so I could see you relating to that. And then there's this, though. That's a weird thing. Now, let's see what Philip says here. Now, there's extensive writings from Philip, and normally we don't give the killers a voice that much unless it's something that's kind of insightful, or if it's just dry, or if it's, I don't know. You kind of need to hear the way he puts things to know who the fuck this guy is.
What do you mean killer? He's not a killer.
What kind of a monster he is.
All he's killing right now is his sister's pussy.
He's killing it there. Let's see what he says about this whole thing. And this is pretty bad here. This is very graphic. He says, and this is a quote, when I was 5 years old, I was molested by my 2 male cousins. They were babysitting me. When I told my dad, he confronted them. He believed them when they told him I made the whole thing up. I got a serious beating for lying when they babysat me again. So his dad beat him up for lying, and then they babysat him again. They put him back. He said, quote, they punished me. They bound me lightly and introduced me to mild torture. After that, I kept my mouth closed. This gets really bad. They passed me around to their friends and older men and older boys in the neighborhood. How many fucking child molesters are in this neighborhood?
Yeah.
That's what I think when he starts to exaggerate some of this shit. But I mean, this is what he's trying to portray, and we don't know. So
that's a bit much.
Yeah. He said they owned me until I was 7 years old. I was not broken yet until I was 12 years old. My dad owned apartments, and he rented one apartment to a high school teacher. My dad hired him as my tutor, and I was doing bad in schoolwork. During our first tutor session, he locked the door and told me to strip, or he'd do it for me. He said he stripped me. That he said, and made me crawl into the bedroom, slapping my petite butt cheeks with my back of my hand. Then he told me.
What?
Then he told me he's going to sodomize me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He didn't say it like that.
Well, that's how he put it. Yeah.
Also, it's hard to smack your butt cheeks with the backside of your hand.
I don't know how
you're backhanding yourself.
I don't know how he's doing that, what's going on there, but I don't know the logistics of the whole thing, but I'm fucking nauseous, I'll tell you that much.
I like that he's calling himself saying he's got a little petite ass.
That's what he says.
Nice of him.
Yeah.
He's very flattering of himself.
He is. He also describes his butt as bright pink at one point, which is...
you need a tan.
Fucking horrible here. He said, after that, he enjoyed me everywhere, but worse. He told me to fuck his son, which I don't know what that means. He said, after that, he was obsessed with men's dicks. And he said, and then he introduced me to serious bondage and torture. Then he told me to dress in panties and a bra with foam titty breasts built into them.
Well, which do you like, men or women, bro?
And how to wear makeup. Well, that's the thing. He's pretty fluid, and we'll find out that's what happens to Phil too, is he doesn't give a shit one way or the other. He said only a few Johns requested me to dress like a girl. He's saying this guy was pimping him out.
Wow.
To these people. Quote, he pimped me to 2 men for the night. They used me so bad. They teach me to deep throat a male dick. They give me a serious face fucking. That's what he says. And we're laughing out of uncomfortableness, not out of a child being face fucked.
But so this is horrific. He wrote this himself.
This is what his writing. And I'm word for word, obviously.
Do we know when he wrote that?
And shit. Yes, later on.
This is later in life.
Way later.
Okay.
This is when he's in prison.
Okay.
Later on.
That's the stuff he wrote in jail.
Yeah. 2 people, by the way.
My Christ.
Just as a foreshadow, several different people were writing to both him and Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, who, if you've ever heard his story, is absolutely sadistic, horrific motherfucker. After a while, they both had to stop writing to Philip because his letters were too disturbing, and they stuck with the Night Stalker.
My word.
They're like, the Richard Ramirez is a nice boy compared to that sicko Jablonski. Wow. He's a sick fuck. Like, he's that sick, this fucking guy.
This is unbelievable.
I don't know how this guy isn't excessively famous, because what he does is... the rampage he goes, it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. So he said, they took my pride from me. I was now totally broken, and they took exotic photos of me and tell me if I say anything, they would show them to my parents. The teacher hurt me until I was 14 years old. At 15, I pimped myself for the first time. I broke the neighbor's car windshield and went to knock on their door. His wife and her husband was in the guest house. His wife said her husband was in the guest house. I mowed their lawn and weeded their garden and some odd jobs for her, I guess to pay back the windshield. He says, when I knocked on the guest house door, he invited me in to my doom. After I told him I broke his windshield, he said he would have to tell my dad. He really didn't want to, but I had no way to pay to replace the windshield. He said if he told my dad, I would get a serious beating. My dad would have a hard time paying for a replacement. Right. He said, but their way was to avoid the beating by my dad. He told me he knew my interest in boy bodies. And if I were to get in bed with him, I could encourage him not to tell my dad. Jesus. He said he'd been checking my ass out and liked how it filled out in my pants.
God, this is like the beginning of a
disgusting.
Porn movie.
Oh, he talks, that's what I mean. To him, it's almost like a fucking, I don't even know how to describe it. He's taken this weird. And fetishized the whole thing rather than been like, this is a horrible thing. It twisted it in the other way. And it's, as we know how all this shit twists in kids' minds when bad things happen to them. He told, he said, he told him that the guy told him that he was gay and that he was obsessed with male dicks. The guy told him. He keeps saying everybody's obsessed with male dicks. He's obsessed. This guy's obsessed with dicks. Male dicks. Who else has dicks?
All right. There's no female dick.
Yeah.
Just say dick.
Yeah. It's like the Wu-Tang lyric.
Right.
Teach the truth to the young black youth. You said it already. Right. You don't need to say it twice.
Is there younger youth? Is that
what
happened
it is? Here? Yeah, you can't say that. You can't teach both. So, anyway, sorry, Inspector Deck. That's a great lyric. So, it's a great song. It's just that one lyric.
Since those 2 words together, it's a bit redundant.
Come on, man. So, he said that he then, Jesus Christ, he said he then had oral sex with this man. Yep. He said we slept together for the first time, and then Philip describes himself as this man's loyal, sexy play toy. He said that, oh my goodness. Jesus Christ.
I enjoy the discomfort on his face.
This is so bad. He said that, basically talks about how this guy would sodomize him all the time, or he would suck him off all the time. Right. He said he had me for 4 months.
4 months for one piece of glass?
For a fucking windshield.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How much value is he putting on his butthole?
Not much.
And everywhere else.
Not much, apparently.
Is it 10 cents at a time? 4 months?
4 months for a windshield, apparently. But I mean, at that point, I don't think the windshield was a factor anymore.
I think he was just enjoying it.
Yeah. Or that he didn't know,
No, not Philip.
Yeah, the other guy,
obviously.
Yeah. So he says, at 16, I pimped myself again when I was a cuddler. He says, I pimped myself to a fucker I was cuddling for fun. He asked me if I knew where we could pick up a male prostitute. We wanted a prostitute that would agree to videotape or act on and photograph an exotic pose and spend the weekend with him. I told him that I was a prostitute and agreed to his terms. Oh.
That is hilarious.
You looking for a prostitute? What a coincidence.
Listen, you're not going to believe how
Here's my card,
serendipitous
sir.
this shit is.
Check all my references are flawless. What the fuck?
It's like talking to Michael Jordan being like, I need an unbelievable basketball player. You're not going to believe your luck.
You're in luck, buddy. So he says, when we got to the motel, he opened up the door and I got a big surprise. There was 5 more men waiting to use me.
Oh, that's not a surprise.
So he says that they had just basically a gangbang on him, and he said they paid me $200. Now he talks about his other childhood things. He said, I had raped 2 sisters.
That's too much.
Yes, that's 2. You can't rape them.
That's too many.
He said, I was 10. One of the girls was 9, and the other one was 4.
Not his sisters.
Not
Wait,
his
did
sisters.
you say 4?
4. 9 and 4 when he was 10. Yes. Then he said when he was 12, he got one of these sisters to help him seduce the neighbor's 9-year-old. To recruit this because he's got this abuse. He's abused this person into making it's fucking horrific.
Is there anybody in this town that just waits to fuck and fucks consensually?
No, there's nobody. There's no parents. There's nobody watching because back then you just let your kids go outside. So I mean, if there's 3 molesters in the neighborhood, they run wild. And when the kids say that guy touched me, they go, "You know he didn't. Shut up.
Don't say that.
Don't make that shit up because they don't want it to be true."
He's a nice man.
Yeah. Back then it was just they didn't want it to be true because the way they thought. If you watch Mad Men, it's all about how shit looks.
Yeah. If you don't make it true, it's not true.
It's not true. And it's a matter of whether they molested the kid or not. If we talk about it, then everyone's going to know about it. And then we're all going to be embarrassed on top of them being molested. So it really doesn't matter. Let's just say it's not true. Exactly. Fucking ridiculous. So, she said, her best friend, Jesus Christ. He said that her best friend and, oh my goodness, Jesus Christ. Her best friend and some other guy then raped his mother, Philip's mother. He said, quote, they all talked about fucking my mother in her huge ass.
Okay. He's
talking about some weird, crazy sex thing that I don't know where it began. I feel like part of it's true.
Right.
And part of it
stops at some point and then he keeps going
and goes with another.
He wants to fuck you up. You know what I mean? He wants to ruin your thoughts.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. He says, Jesus Christ. At that point, he says that he gets obsessed with younger boys and younger girls and all that sort of thing. He says that he loved, quote, I was a pimp. I loved to pimp young stuff. Uh-huh. He said that his teacher, that guy, lended him a press camera so he could learn to take family portraits in the 1960s and 70s. And he said, basically, I'm not going to fucking read what he said because it's just, it's just fucking, I want to strangle this man.
He took pictures of what, Chase?
He took pictures of infants, and he would tell the mothers, "Oh yeah, it's cute. You put them naked on the bearskin rug," and then he gets off on naked fucking infants. And then he said he would have the mother leave the room for some reason while he's taking pictures, and then he would do things to the baby and take pictures that he wanted to take of the baby and keep them for himself and shit like that. This is what he says. It's fucking disgusting. He says, "Quote: If the mother left the room, their infant was fair game." That's his fucking quote. I don't.
Oh my God!
I can't.
And just from his stories before, you can just imagine the horrible things he did to these babies.
Jesus Christ! Well, he says this was when he was taking the photos, he would just touch them, and not just, but he would touch them and take photos of them and things like that.
Drop his dick next to their head or whatever.
Who knows what the fuck his sick shit goes?
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. He says I would focus. He also wanted to pimp other kids. He said said, I focused on foster kids, runaway, junior and high school students, and some mature male and females. Now, also, Patsy says that when she was 14 and Phil was 16, he came up behind her and put a rope around her neck and threw her on the bed and said, quote, I'm going to get some of that off of you, is what he said to her. She said that he had an erection and she thought that he was going to rape her, which I would say, someone goes out with a hard dick saying, I'm going to get some of that off of you after they just choked you with a rope. Pretty solid conclusion. She said he started coming at her and then suddenly he stopped and broke down crying and apologizing and, crumbled to the floor and all that shit and said he didn't know what he was doing. She said she told the parents about the incident and the father beat the living shit out of him, obviously. And that's a beating I endorse. I endorse that. If your son does that to your daughter, you should probably, I don't even know what the correct thing to do is, but a beating is to start with.
The right answer is police involvement.
Well, I was going to say, while the cops are coming, I think you're beating at that point, though. I'm saying, I don't know when the beating comes or in what context as a whole, but there's hitting involved.
Off of her.
There's going to be some slapping at least, and it's going to be.
You guys handcuff him and take him.
Jesus Christ. So in high school, he belonged to the cadet corps in school, which is like the ROTC type shit. And in 1966, he enlists in the Army, which in 1966, enlisting in the Army means you are going to Vietnam at that point, and he ends up going to Vietnam. Now, before he goes, this guy's going to Vietnam.
We're unleashing this lunatic on Vietnam.
Yeah, and we're going, here's a gun.
Oh, my God.
Do your damnedest. I don't know, it's a jungle.
Jesus.
Fucking, this is what I mean. This is fucking crazy.
Lawless ass, boy.
He ends up in psych hospitals and everything. He ends up being an MP, but like that guy
in charge.
They gave him handcuffs.
Wow.
This sick fuck. Imagine him with handcuffs. What he would do to people.
In a country that we don't care what you do to him. Just go.
Yeah.
What?
This is fucking crazy. Now, before that, he, to tell you about this is when he's 17. We'll talk about this. This is his adult sexuality. And the only reason I'm telling you this is not gratuitous, is because this behavior and certain little things, certain little tells that he has,
his nuances,
certain signatures that he has actually, are come out later on. So we need to tell his story here. This is his story and, that he wrote in jail, and it's called, he titles it, quote, My First Fuck with a Large Fat Woman.
Another
not his first fuck at all. This is just his first time fucking a quote large fat woman.
Listen, white Inspector Deck. Calm down with the
This is awful. I don't even.
It's again with the same meaning, same word, same meaning. Stop it.
This is fucking horrible. Okay, but I'm gonna read this word for word because it's important, because this is his adult shit that this is the beginning of his whole pattern here. Quote. This whole thing's a quote. I'll tell you about my first fuck with a large fat woman. I was 17 years old and would fuck anyone with a pussy or a tight anal. I would hope everyone has a tight anal. No one's walking around with a loose anal, I hope.
But
just fucking boots falling out and shit.
I like that he said anal.
Whole rigatonies. I don't know what's going on.
Like he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I mean, the word cavity is missing, or anus. It's not an anal, sir.
He's not the.
There's no body part of an anal.
He's not the most educated. You heard what he was doing in school and at home. I feel like he wasn't doing homework. I feel like bad things were happening. He says, quote, especially real boys. I don't know. Now back to this woman. Quote, she was the owner of a Chinese restaurant. I was a dishwasher and driver. So this is an Asian woman, presumably. One night she asked me to drive her to her apartment. When we arrived, she invited me in. Her big mistake. Once inside, we sat on the couch and I had my hands all over her. She said, you don't waste any time, do you? I was told she was going to slip into something more comfortable. I waited a few minutes and then walked into the bedroom. She was nude, so she laid down and I mounted her, and it was the worst fuck of my life. She sweated like a fucking hippo. I mean, That's terrible.
Do hippos sweat?
I don't think they do sweat. I think they have another form of
the body cooling. There's something.
I mean, she sweated so much it was like just fucking water. I thought I would slide off her, and she kept pleading for me to come. It gets graphic. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Quote, I punched the hippo, and this is fucking horrible. We're not laughing at that. It's
hilarious.
We have to explain how it's so just awful that if you don't laugh, I don't even know. I should probably explain the my great-grandmother thing at this point real quick in case you're a new listener. We laugh when we're uncomfortable with horrible things because that's just how we're programmed, because we both had traumatic shit happen. Jimmy's explained his traumatic shit, that's is much similar to Philip's childhood.
Damn near identical.
Mine, I was talking about my dark sense of humor came. My great-grandmother, had her throat cut. Someone broke into her house, tied her up, robbed her, and cut her throat. Nice. It was an 85-year-old woman. So at her funeral, they had a shitload of like a pearl necklace that was like wrapped around her neck like 9 times to hide the giant gaping fucking neck wound that they couldn't cover. Somebody failed mortician school. So I don't know how hard that is to do, but apparently it was pretty bad.
Right.
So I was standing there at the casket with one of my cousins and looked over, and I said, well, if she was wearing that in the first place, none of us would have to be here right now. And we laughed because I didn't know what else to do.
It's the greatest.
And that's why that's where these laughs come from. Right. It's the exact same place, I feel like.
So he's punching hippos.
So I punched the hippo and said, you're lucky I'm fucking you.
Yeesh.
You'll get my cum when I want to give it to you.
Well, I mean, you could say that to anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be a hippo.
No, he said, then I put it in her ass. I called her a fucking fat whale and a hippo and the worst fuck I ever had while punching her in her monster breasts. I got off the bed and she asked me if I would spend the night with her.
Well,
okay.
You weren't her worst, apparently.
I told her I would under my conditions. She had to crawl to me and lick my balls, then my dick. She said she would agree, but she preferred to just put her lips around my dick. She told me she never had a dick in her mouth. Which I don't know if your lips are around a dick, it's in your mouth.
Definitely in your mouth.
I gotta tell you, that's like if you got nuts on your chin,
it's a dick in your mouth.
The whole thing, yeah. So once she had her lips around my dick, she was in for a big surprise. I slowly slid my big dick to the back of the slut's mouth and down her throat. This is fucking horrific.
It's like Penthouse
Forum.
Yeah,
like a horrible fucking
terribly written
remedial Penthouse Forum. This is awful. Jesus.
It's like an 8-year-old thinking this is how hot letters are.
It's like a 13-year-old who just figured out what fucking was. And he's like, oh, I saw porn once. I gave her a serious face fucking to the point where she was choking and could hardly breathe. Then I held her nose and buried her face in my groin until she swallowed my cum. Oh, Jesus.
Yeesh.
I hit her in the face and dropped her to the floor and kicked her in the stomach twice and told her to crawl into the bedroom. I told her to get up and bend over. She didn't know it was happening until I spread her large ass cheeks. She said, Phil, please, not there. She twisted and pulled away, but I held her firm. I had her hair in my hand. She couldn't escape me. She screamed and pleaded for me to stop the pain. I didn't show her any mercy. I picked up my belt and beat her all over her body until there was welts everywhere. Then I introduced her to bondage and torture.
Now there's more?
There's more. This is when it gets really bad. This is when his signatures start kicking in here. Then I introduced her to bondage and torture. I got my pocket knife and severed her nipple. And quote, sliced the slut's pussy.
Oh, my God.
I made her crawl all over her apartment telling me she was my slut and sex slave. She begged me for more sessions.
Okay.
And that's the end of it.
I don't believe that there was more. I think there was.
Well, he has a thing with the nipple, as we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He likes them, huh?
Well,
is this a Vietnam thing?
Well,
did he make a necklace?
This is so fucked up. It's the worst.
Oh, my God.
So while in high school, before he joined the military, he did meet a girl. Mm-hmm. Phil meets a girl that's willing to spend time with him voluntarily.
Okay.
He doesn't have to trap her in a closet and poke her with a cattle prod, nothing like that.
What kind of nutty chick is this?
Well, her name is Alice McGowan. They meet in high school. After high school, he joins the military. He's sent overseas. He returns in 1968, and Alice and Phil get married.
Okay.
That's kind of how it's the 60s. It's kind of how it was. It wasn't like it was just like, well, he came back, so we're getting married now.
This guy, this monster. Turner survived Vietnam.
This guy, yeah, he survived Vietnam. Yeah, he actually did. So McGowan, when he gets back, they get married. Upon them getting married, Alice lives for 2 months with his parents in California. So think about that. That crazy fucking household. His new wife lived there while he was on base because he had just got back and it was he was going through the processes of.
Phil allows her to stay with his dad?
Can you imagine? I'm sure he is. He's trying to feel her up and everything. And then she ends up joining him in Texas where he's posted at the time near El Paso. Okay. We'll talk about some shit he does there that are still open cases that are crazy.
What a terrible place.
So according to Alice, El Paso's awful. We've talked about that. El Paso is a terrible place.
They should thank Christ for Juarez.
Yeah.
Making it tolerable to live in El Paso.
When you talk about anyone being murdered and you add in it was in El Paso, you're like, the last breath they took was
bastards.
Last air was El Paso. They looked up and saw El Paso around them before they died. Oh, that poor son of a bitch. That poor bastard. That makes it worse.
Yeah.
Makes it so much worse.
Oh, Christ.
He took in El Paso. He goes, I died in El Paso.
The skyline.
So Alice says that he returned from overseas to Fort Bliss, Texas, is where he was for a while. She said he was a changed man at that point. Completely different guy, night and day. She said he was like kind of sweet and quiet before to her. Very quiet, very sweet, very not domineering, very passive with her. Very sweet.
Beta male.
Yeah, with her. He was just very nice, treated her with respect and was nice to her, like nobody else he's treated. She said he got back from Vietnam. The switch was flipped. Different guy, different look in his eye, the whole deal. And I mean, that happened to people. Yeah. And later on, too, he claims a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder, and he's diagnosed. He's no stranger to psychiatric hospitals and psych visits and prison wards and shit. So he gets a lot of evaluations, and he's got some post-traumatic stress disorder problems from Vietnam, which is normal. She said he was really mean. She also said, Alice said that she, quote, wasn't sure all the time whether he was really with it or not. So he just turned into a different guy. He'd have the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
He just, you there? And oh yeah, sorry. Like he's off in another place.
Got his war face on all the time.
Yeah, he's off in another place. She also said once she moved to Texas, he became violent during sex now, which wasn't like that before. She said on one occasion, he put a pillow over her face while they were having sex and tried to suffocate her. Yeah. On other occasions, he grabbed her throat and strangled her until she became unconscious while they were having sex. And she wasn't like, choke me, she wasn't fucking asking for this at all. This was a, involuntary. She was asking the opposite. Could you please not do that? Thank you. Once he came into the bathroom while she was taking a bath and tried to drown her in the tub. Just out of nowhere. Burst through the door and started fucking trying to drown her in the bathtub.
My Christ.
Lucky for her, she was strong and soaking wet and slippery. Yeah. Maybe she just soaked up or something. And on another occasion, while she was pregnant.
Why is there another occasion?
While she was pregnant, Jimmy, this man's going to be a father. Oh, by the way, this isn't the only time he'll be a father.
Oh, my God.
Someone's going to get, wow. He began to strangle her until his own mother convinced him to stop choking this woman who's carrying his child to death.
He's strangling a pregnant woman in front of mom.
In front of his own mother. I don't even know what to say about that. He says about the relationship and his thing here, quote, I tried to murder Alice 5 times. Once by drowning her, twice by strangling her, once with a cord and once with my bare hands, and twice by suffocating her, once with a pillow and once with my hands. She survived my many attempts to murder her.
What are the chances that she ever uttered the phrase, Philip, you've changed?
Philip, you've changed, man. You changed, Phil.
You're doing all that good.
You're doing all that good, man. So, Jesus. November of 68, Alice is gone. She leaves him, takes the kid and leaves. Thank the Lord here. Leaves. He becomes involved with another woman. He meets in November of 1968. Another woman, a woman named Jane Sanders. On their first date, he raped her.
Date one.
Date one, he raped her. She did not report the rape.
Of course not.
Because she was ashamed and it was the 60s.
Right. And she instead
bed, kept going out with him. This is like a lot like the Richard Kuklinski story when he talks about stabbing his wife in the tit with a knife on a fucking date, saying, you know, whatever, you're gonna not go anywhere with it. And she stayed. That was like
that's a Jersey girl though. That's a different chick.
That's a different kind. Yeah, that's a good point. She said, my dad pulled a knife on me when I was 5. Yeah,
so thoughtful.
This is joking aside, this is fucking crazy. She doesn't report the rape. She stays with him. Turns out for 4 years she stays with him after. That's a red flag, by the way. First date rape, that's a red flag, I would say right there.
Call the police.
You know shit. I mean, good God. Fuck. So, 1969, Jane is pregnant with his child. Another fucking kid he's going to have. Jesus. He leaves the military at this point. By the way, Jane, he meets her when he was a military police officer. He's an MP, and he was in the psych ward, and she was his therapist.
My word.
This whole relationship is completely inappropriate from a power balance right away. She should not be engaging with her.
As fuck.
The whole thing is wrong. He said that when he got out of the ward, he asked her out and raped her. That's the way he put it. When I got out of the ward, I asked her out and raped her. Like it was like, took her out for a burger. She didn't report the rape, he says. Her girlfriends, many didn't know. She said one of the girlfriends, I guess, helped set them up. And she said, quote, she set Jane up to be raped. She got pregnant. We have a son, Chris, and a daughter, Robin. So this is insane.
This is a lot to take in.
This is a fucking lot. So
Jesus.
It's the therapist here. So, wow. She's pregnant. He leaves the military and relocates to California, back to where he's from, lives with his parents for a little while. And then they move into their own house. And she says that their sex life was just violent and everything. On one occasion, they were having sex and she wanted to stop. So he pulled out a pistol and threatened to shoot her if she didn't continue, which is not okay. Let's just say that right off the top. Another time in the middle of it, he struck her with the butt of a gun during sex, rendering her unconscious. And when she came to, he was still having sex with her.
Still hanging.
That was how that goes. Wow. During this relationship with her, he's seeing at the VA hospital, the Veterans Hospital. He's seeing psychiatrists and he's taking daily medication. However, they said he exhibited odd behavior, including one time forgetting his children at a shopping mall. Went to the mall with his kids and then just left and forgot he was with his kids. And he got home and they were like, "Where are the kids?" And he's like, "Oh shit,
that's right."
I knew I was forgetting something. I thought I needed socks, but then I remembered I took two kids there.
Air filters. Shit. Turns out it was children.
Jeez. Fuck me, man. So on another occasion, over her objection, he tied her to the bed while they were having sex and just left her there. And then is the same thing with Alice, his first wife. He smothered her with a pillow until she was unconscious during intercourse. She said that she became afraid that if he actually smothered her, their children would be left alone with him. Obviously a fucking monster.
Yeah. And he'd forget him somewhere.
He claims that she wanted him to torture her and she liked prolonged bondage. When she says, "No, I didn't. Didn't ask for it, didn't want it." In his mind,
this is his game.
And I don't know what it is.
She was just going along with as far as she could. Just because he liked it.
It's fucking crazy. So she left him in 1972. Shortly before she left, he became angry with her and threw a frying pan filled with hot grease at her.
No.
Yes, the pan missed. Thankfully, so she picked up the pan and hit him with it while he charged at her, knocked him out cold, took the kids and fucking took off. And that's how she got away from him. That's an awesome way to get away from somebody. To hit him with a big cast iron frying pan. That dong. Imagine the satisfaction in that fucking dong. Bong, and the following poof on the ground. That must have been like hallelujah. Oh my God, the victory in that. Take your kids and fucking run. Holy shit.
When somebody is knocked out, that crumple is so, when it's like, like in boxing, you see people get knocked out and they're like
moving around.
Right, they daze when it's crumpling, it's amazing.
And especially when he's this guy.
Right.
And you hit him with that's satisfying fucking frying. Back then, frying pans weren't little light Teflon. Right. It was a goddamn cast iron. That shit weighed 12 pounds. That's a blow. That'll mess your head up. So
you'll have to wonder on your drive out, is his skull cracked? It's got to be fractured, right?
He's leaking brain fluids in there, right? At least out of his ears. So later in 1972, he meets a woman named Marcia and her husband. Mm-hmm. They become friendly, whatever, when he sold them dogs. He worked at a company that trained security guard dogs, and these people bought dogs from the company, and he was their salesperson.
Shepherds or Dobermans?
They were security dogs, So he delivered dogs to their house, and he taught them how to handle them and shit, and he was the kind of go-between guy. This guy now with attack dogs.
Boy.
Jesus Christ. Talk about hell. He's turning into literally the devil here. So on December 17th, 1972, he came over their house, even though the husband had asked him not to because he was going to be at work. He said, I'll be at work, so don't come over that night. And he said, okay. And then he came over that night on purpose. So he sat and talked with Marcia, Phil did, about the problems they were having with one of the dogs. Philip told her to watch from the bedroom window while he worked with the dog outside in the yard. Watch what I do through the window, and you can copy me after that.
What's he going to do?
So when she got to the bedroom window, he wasn't outside. Instead, he came up behind her and put a knife to her throat. Just crept up behind her and ordered her to undress and threatened to kill her children unless she complied.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is not what she expected at all. Then he raped her at knife point. During the rape, he struck her in the face with the handle of the knife, like the butt end of it. He hit her with it and fractured her orbital bone.
Wow.
Which is fucking awful. I know a person who fractured their orbital bone. We both do, and it's a terrible injury and an awful recovery. Oh, by the way, and she's being horribly raped also, which is even worse.
The other part is like, he's doing this. Does he expect to get away? She's got a husband. She's going to have to tell him why her orbital bone is fucking broken. I would say, later, he stays for a while, hangs out. Later, with her 8-month-old baby in the room, he decides to take another shot at her, ties her arms behind her back, and sodomizes her as well. Oh, my God.
So he tells her that his wife just left him and he didn't know why he was doing this, but he had already started and she could identify him. That's what he said, which is a bad thing to hear.
Oh, Jesus.
Apparently, the dog started barking outside, and he told her to bring the dog inside the house and threatened to kill her if she didn't come back inside with the dog, or threatened to kill her kids. You see, he said, I'll be in here with your kids, so you go get the dog, and if you take off, I'm going to kill your fucking kids in here. So she went outside, acted like she was getting the dog, and took off to a neighbor's house.
Girl.
So the neighbor apparently was, this guy is ready for action. He apparently had a gun real handy, grabbed his gun, and went outside just as Phil was coming out of the house. So this guy fucking cocked his shotgun and said, I would hold it right there if I were you, and called the police and held Philip at gunpoint until the sheriff arrived. And he was arrested, Philip was, and when he was arrested, he told the police right away, quote, I don't know why I did it, my wife just left me, which is, by the way, not an excuse at all.
It doesn't stop it.
There is no excuse, but that's really, he then told a detective, quote, I didn't know what I was doing at the time. Everything was blanked out for me and I just wasn't myself. I figured to myself under a doctor's care and supervision that it would never happen again. So he's like, I just went crazy for a minute. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just get like a lapse. You go wacky and you hold a broad at knife point, threaten to kill her children and fucking forcibly sodomize her. You know how that goes. We all have done it. I mean, come on.
So I'll tell you what we'll do. You get a piece of paper out. I'll tell you what we're going to do, and then we'll do that.
We'll do like an IOU. Like, I owe you not to do this anymore, and I promise. You just get me a doctor. We'll talk about it for a while, and then it'll be good. Fine. All right. Have a good one, buddy. Thanks for having me. Is that what
they did?
No, they absolutely didn't. They said that they did not observe anything abnormal about his mental functioning, or he didn't seem to be any different than any other suspect they brought in for questioning.
Apart from being a fucking psycho.
He's sent to prison.
Okay,
thankfully.
Good. So they didn't take his deal?
No, they said, you know what? We'll take part 2, where you promise to not do it ever again. But part 1, instead of just you shake our hands and leave, we're going to go ahead and just put you in prison. And while you're there, you can talk to the doctor if you want.
Oh, there's a bunch of them there.
But you're going to be
come and go.
in prison.
You won't.
You're going to be in a box. They won't be. They'll
put
leave.
You in a cage.
They'll come in their Toyota Camry every morning and park it, and then go in their cardigan, and then they'll leave at the end of the night and go home and have boring sex with their wife.
And you'll sleep exactly where you live.
We'll be in the same place. You'll smell another man's ass.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you will.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, he won't, because we'll find out he's putting different housing we'll talk about.
For lunatics.
No, well, we'll talk about why. Very much into the pen pal program here. A woman named Mary became acquainted with him through her participation in a letter writing program to prisoners organized by her prayer group.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's reach out to these prisoners. Her prayer group in Zionville, Indiana.
Of course.
She corresponded with him. He's in prison, obviously, for the rape. He's released, and he invited Mary to come visit him, and she agreed.
Yeah, of course.
Because they've been talking, because you want to trust him.
He seems like a nice guy.
She made it clear to him from the start that she was not coming to have sex. She said, I'm a supporter of yours, and I'm friendly.
No problem. Come on by.
Come on by. On her third day of the visit, Philip told her that because she's been so sincere and heartfelt about helping him, he's going to be honest with her.
Yeah.
So I'm going to level with you. Wow. Listen here. I don't even know what to say here. Listen here, Mary. I'm going to level with you. He said, quote, a week before you arrived, I dug your grave. I invited you here to kill you. I mean, I'm going to be perfectly frank here. He goes, I can show you the grave if you want. It's in the backyard. And she said, that's okay.
I trust you.
She said, I'm good. Thanks. You don't need to show me.
I'm going to be honest with you. I dug your grave.
I dug your grave a week before you came here. Like, this has all been planned. You were just waiting on you.
It's got 3 inches of water. It's been raining like crazy.
Just waiting on you to kill you and put you in there and then put them. So yeah, he said that. She declined. He then said he planned to kill her, but because she's been so nice to him and so sincere like nobody ever has, he decided against going through with it. He can't do it. He said, I'm sorry, you're just too nice to kill.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So But the next day, the fourth day of her visit, he came into her room while she was sleeping.
Yeah.
She woke up to him standing there. I know. That would be.
How do you go to bed? How do you stay?
Night.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Imagine
I dug
that.
your grave. Cool, gotta go.
Cool. We watched Johnny Carson. Good night. I'm real tired. There's not a fucking Holiday Inn in this town, for Christ's sake. Jesus.
How do you go? Cool, I'm going to turn.
Gotta go now.
Let's talk about this in the morning.
But she said, she's so trusting.
Really nice.
That she said, well, he's being honest with me. Why would he tell me he's going to kill me? And then it wouldn't matter, but that's her thinking. So she wakes up with him standing there asking her to have sex with him.
Yeah.
So it's escalated to that. She said no. She wouldn't. He kept asking and asking, but he wasn't forcibly physically assaulting her. Eventually,
he's sorry.
Yeah, he's encouraging her to
just a little pussy.
Eventually, we don't know what happened there. By the way. Eventually, I have no clue. I don't know enough about that to make jokes about it either.
The only thing I know is that some girl went on a date with him.
Yeah, I heard it was a pushy, but I don't know.
He
what
yanked her out of dinner. They didn't even eat their $300 dinner because he wanted to fuck.
Well, he's not funny, so he's got that going for him. I don't really care. I mean, I care what he does. I don't know what happened there. I know he's not funny, so I can hate him for that, and then just add the rest of it on top. You can just add the rest. Whether it happened or not, I hate him anyway. So, fuck him. I hate him more if he did it, but, either way.
The only thing I hate the most is that in his latest thing that he did in New York, some stand-up special, he said that I was ending sets with thank you, but I didn't mean it. You didn't what? What are you talking about?
Shut up.
Fuck you.
Thank you for pretending I'm funny because you think that people think I'm supposed to be funny.
How about you be grateful somebody bought a ticket to see you, you fucking asshole. No.
Awful. That's what stand-up's going. I don't think so. Okay, never mind. Moving on. We'll talk about that all night. So instead, we're in a horrible room with a horrible guy. Mm-hmm. So eventually, to placate him, to calm him down and whatever, she let him tie her hands and feet with knitting yarn, which she figured she could break the string if necessary. So it's like he feels good, and I can get out if I need to. Everybody's happy. Basically.
Few wraps, that shit's tough.
I was going to say that if it's nylon, it'll pull, and you can't. So
I got a scarf that somebody made me. I don't think I could tear it.
No, probably. Well, this is hopefully not a whole scarf's worth, but it's still. After he ties her up, he leaves the room, which had to be frightening, and he returns with a straight razor. which is not what you want.
Those are dangerous.
When you know there's a grave dug already, because it's already dug. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to put someone in there. You can't waste a grave
unless he's trying to help to get the yarn off.
That's the thing. He's trying. I'm going to cut that yarn off for you.
Do you a favor.
Obviously, she thinks that death is forthcoming here. Instead, what he wants to do is shave her pussy.
Oh. With a straight razor?
He shaves her with a straight razor.
Oh, my God.
Afterwards, he took photographs of her area shaven. He then put a pillow over her face, which is what he likes to do. Yeah. She said she played dead until he stopped. She just went limp, and eventually he stopped and left the room. Uh-huh. The next day...
How does the sun go down and come back up and you're still there?
As soon as he goes to sleep, I'm running out of the door.
So fast.
I don't care. The next day, she pretended there was an emergency with her daughter at her house with like her grandkid or her family or some shit and took off and left and got away from him.
Okay.
Thank fuck. Sure, came to her senses. So... February 1977,
that trip was 2 days too long.
That was way too long. The second he said, I dug your grave.
Bye.
Next time he pisses, I'm out of that house. Gone. Fucking gone.
Turn your back, make a sandwich. I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, not even.
Anything.
He gets up to change the channel. No remote back then. He goes to flick it. I'm out. So, February of 77, he meets Linda Kimball. Okay, he says he met her through her husband. He said they had an affair and she got pregnant and they had a daughter named Megan. So far I'm counting 4 kids at least.
How's he doing this?
It's crazy. He said, quote, after that I introduced her to sodomy.
Yeah.
I told her that if I was her husband and she left me for any reason, I would kill her. They weren't even together yet. No. She was still, wow. By August of that year, they were living together. She was away from her husband. They were living together. Linda gives birth to their daughter in December of 77. Her mother, Isabel Pauls, lives nearby. Now, July 6th, 1978, Isabel Pauls, her daughter's, husband here, right, and, her, boyfriend who she has a kid with and all that. She wakes up, the mother is awakened by Phil, who is on top of her in his underwear, holding a knife to her throat.
Jesus.
Which is a bad sign. He told her that he came to rape her.
Yeah.
He said, I've come to rape you, which is like a Batman villain.
Proclamation.
I've come to rape you, which is not what you want to hear. Please, nobody isolate that. Jesus Christ.
Make that a ringtone.
No. Don't request that one.
I've come to rape you. I have a text message.
Oh, shit. Let that go off at work. He said, but he couldn't go through with it because when he looked at her face, all he could see is Linda's face. Yeah. So he said he felt bad. So she managed to escape to a neighbor's house. She does not report the incident to the police out of concern for her daughter. She doesn't want her daughter's, father of her daughter's baby going to jail and then, not having any money, I guess, is what she's thinking. Jesus Christ. Now, the daughter found out about this. The daughter promised the mother that he would seek help at the VA hospital in Loma Linda. So, Jesus Christ. After he attacked her, Isabel, the mother, does call the Loma Linda VA and talks to a doctor about the attack. Yeah. Tells her about it, but not the police. The doctor, a Dr. Kopoloff, told her not to call the police. Don't call the police or anything, even though you have a guy who's repeating the same pattern he's done before. Don't do that. Assured her that the VA would take care of it. We'll take care of it. We'll fix him up. It's fine. She also says, this Isabel, that her daughter was upset because the day that this happened, the day of the attack on Isabel, Linda had driven Phil, to the Loma Linda VA hospital, and they refused to admit him. Uh-huh. They wouldn't hospitalize him. So then he went home and threatened to rape his mother-in-law.
Good Lord.
So 2 days before, a few days after that, Linda took Phil to a second appointment at the VA, and the personnel again declined to hospitalize him. So multiple times he tries to attack her. They still don't hospitalize him. She takes him in again. He's still acting crazy. And he wants to go too.
Yeah.
He's saying, I can't control myself. Take me to the fucking hospital. Like, he's getting in the car voluntarily. She's not doing like a vet thing. Like, you want to go to the park? And he's like, okay. And then we're going to the vet. Like, that's not how this works. She's not playing a trick. Okay. And he hops in the car.
So you're telling me that the VA's been fucked up for years?
Oh boy. Yeah. They're like, we don't, he's good. Cause I mean, think about this. This is post-Vietnam. You know how many fucking people with post-traumatic stress disorder this place is overrun by? So if they cannot admit somebody, they're not going to admit them.
You're telling me your brain's a little scrambled? I got a dude in there whose lungs are on fire still.
Unless they're holding a knife to their own throat, they're not being admitted for psychiatric reasons. Like, unless it's imminent danger, which he is imminent. He's imminent danger to other people. So while this is all going on, Linda decides to leave him, and she and the child move in with Isabel. They leave her. Now, July 16th of that year, 11 a.m., Linda returns to the apartment that she shared with him, with Phil, to pick up some things for the baby. She doesn't have all her shit. She's going to pick up baby toys and baby stuff. So, early that afternoon, she is found dead in the apartment.
No.
Linda. Her wrists were bound. She'd been badly beaten and stabbed and strangled with a man's belt. Her blouse had been pulled apart and her pants and underwear pulled down, and her bra had been ripped apart, like torn to pieces. Cause of death was asphyxiation. Interesting there. So obviously they want to talk to Phil about this, since that's kind of his MO.
That's our guy.
And that's kind of our guy. Instead, he goes on the fucking lam. He takes off because he knows that shit. He finds a woman named Eileen Millsap at her home in Highland, California. He responds to an advertisement that this Eileen Millsap had put in the local paper offering a stove for sale. He shows up at her house while she was all alone with her small children.
Jesus God.
He put a knife to the throat of her 3-year-old son and forced her into the bedroom and ordered her to undress while he held a knife to her 3-year-old son's throat. With her 2 children in the room, he gets on top of her and begins to choke her till she loses consciousness. When she wakes up, he's gone. She still has her clothes on, but her wallet and purse are missing. And, which that's better than what he's been doing so far. Later on, one of her credit cards was used to buy gasoline at a gas station. Now, also, while this is going on, while he's on the lam from this whole thing, there's an open case that's still open that he's trying to solve here by admitting to this shit repeatedly. He tells a story of what he does while he's on the lam running away after, the Linda murder. Okay. This is another one I'm just going to quote. It's horrible, and here it is.
This is out of a Dear Diary thing?
This is his own words here. Quote, "See, I would take my date to Lover's Lane overlooking University of El Paso. While others were kissing, hugging, fondling their dates, my date was sucking me or fucking me, or I was sodomizing her." He says, "See, I was on the run from killing my 3rd wife and raping a housewife and her infant daughter and toddler son, leaving her for dead, but she survived. I was driving down the main street of El Paso when I picked up a woman hitchhiker. When she got in my car, she didn't know she was getting in the car of death. I gave her a tour of El Paso since I was stationed near there in the Army. I took her to the canyon where I raped my 2nd wife on our first date and lured her to an isolated field. I had a .22 caliber rifle in the trunk of my car, and I told her I wanted to do some target practice. She didn't know she was going to be one of my targets. I set up some tin cans, and we shot at them. She got bored and stood in front of a dirt mound with her back facing me. I took careful aim and slowly pulled the trigger, and the bullet hit her in the back of the head. She spun around and looked her killer in the eyes before falling over on her back. I walked up to her and she was dead. Her face was completely purple. I pulled her off the dirt mound. The ground helped me strip her. Her blouse came off first, then her bra. He's acting
what
like
a horrible thing.
He's acting like her clothes are like dandelion fucking spores that are coming. They just fly right off. Her blouse came off first, then her bra, revealing large breasts. When I pulled her a fair distance from the mound, I stripped her the rest of the way. I rolled her over and was going to sodomize the slut, but she looked like she had shit her pants, so I drug her between 2 mounds and left."
What?
I don't even know where to fucking
Because, I mean, your body evacuates when you die, and that's what happened,
That's
bro.
what happened, because you killed her. Oh, that's not the worst part, I don't think. Also, I had popped out her eyes and severed her nipples and eaten them.
eaten them.
Their nipples, she said he ate, not the eyes. He popped out the eyes, but then ate the nipples. I went through her belongings and found $50. In a sense, she paid me for murdering her.
Unbelievable.
What a fucking piece of shit. She was just 20 years old and was from Florida. I had her bra and panties as a souvenir. I drove to the Lover's Lane overlooking the University of El Paso, to the Lover's Lane I know. There was a young girl standing there looking down at the university with her back to me. I was parked across from her and had the rifle in the seat of my car. I picked it up and took careful aim and hit her in the back of the head. She slid down the stone wall. I walked up to her. She was still alive and she said, "Please don't kill me." I stripped her and bent her over the wall and sodomized her.
Oh my God, after she's been shot.
In the fucking head. I then picked up my rifle and shot her in the back of the head and threw her over the wall into a deep ravine.
My fuck.
When she went over the wall, she looked like she was flying. I picked up her clothes and my gun and stuffed them in the trunk of my car along with the bra and panties from my last victim and drove back to California.
Jesus Christ.
Dear Diary, wow. Oh, by the way,
yeah.
And he claims that, Jesus Christ, he claims that on the run, on the way back, he claims to have kidnapped a 6-year-old boy from a motel that his parents owned and sodomized him. And he says he cut his penis off and ate it later. He said he kept it as a souvenir and then ate it later on. He also said he picked up a 15-year-old gay hitchhiker, took him to a motel, kept him for a few days because of a serious snowstorm. Then he said he strangled him to death while talking to his mother on the phone. Not the boy's mother, his own mother.
Oh, okay.
He called his mother and strangled the guy to death while talking to her.
Which one's worse? You know what I mean? Is it worse to talk to the victim's mother or your own?
I have no fuck.
Well,
he tried
doing
to.
That?
He apparently gets off on choking people in front of his mother.
There is something. I don't know if any of these. You know what I mean? They're true. I mean, some of them are true.
Yeah, a lot of this is true. Yeah, I think.
But he really goes far.
He said that he also severed his unit there and ate it later also.
So he doesn't have one of his own.
He says no. Apparently, he says, I met a closet gay guy through a prison pen pal. I told him if I ever meet him, I would kill him. After I killed the 15-year-old, I went to his house and he welcomed that killer with open arms. His mother found out that her 20-year-old son was gay when she came over to his house and seen me sodomizing her son's petite, gorgeous butt. Then one day he is still in bed upstairs when I decided it was time for him to die. I got a butcher knife from his kitchen and put it under a glass coffee table. Went upstairs and beat the hell out of him, then dragged him down the stairs and told him it was time for him to die. He was begging for his wellness after I laid him under the coffee table and sodomized him. I reached under the table and got the knife. I made a sharper cut from ear to ear. He screamed and begged me not to kill him. It was way too late. I cut his throat from ear to ear, and was holding his head by his hair. I took his head and dick as a souvenir and stuffed his dick in his mouth. I cut his dick and eyes.
What is that?
I don't know. It's eyes with the. I don't know.
He just wants to destroy.
This is after he does this over an 11-day period after he kills his Linda Kimball. He's caught 11 days later in Arizona. He's arrested.
Oh, my word.
So for 11 days, he drove to El Paso, did all this, and was heading back to California and got caught.
Lord.
Police found a note in his handwriting that read, quote, "Killed to date. Linda Kimball, common law wife. I told her she would never raise Megan alone or leave me alive. She begged me not to kill her. You screamed, but it was cut short."
My Christ.
That's some evidence, I would say. Also,
in his
own writing. Yeah. Oh, that's not the motive. There's so much more later on. It gets even crazier. This is like the intro. This is nuts. After Linda's death, the mother, Isabel Pauls, obtained custody of the child, thankfully, and his parents sought custody of the child.
Yuck.
And according to the judge said that he would not send the child to the same environment from which the defendant had came.
Thank God.
Thank you. Somebody with some fucking brains in their head. So, in prison in 1982, he's in prison now for murder.
Right.
He begins a pen pal relationship
again
with a woman named Carol Spadani. This is after he placed an ad in a newspaper for.
Why did they allow this?
I don't know. Well, it's all prison pen pal. It's supposed to help them.
No,
but they can also do this.
Ask Mary how that turned out.
No shit. Carol lives with her mother, Eva Peterson. Now, this is how he describes them. Quote, "They were hermits, Carol was real ugly and anorexic. When I hug her, it's like hugging a skeleton. She weighed only 60 pounds and had one silicone titty. One was smaller. I don't know how that worked. My main focus was on Eva. She was real gorgeous for being 56 years old. She had huge breasts and medium-sized ass cheeks. I told Eva I would fuck and sodomize her someday. So, in 1982...
Did he write that to her?
I don't know if he told her, write her, but either way, the daughter, Carol, marries him.
What?
In 1982 at San Quentin. Marries him. Fucking marries him.
It is a man's world.
So, July 1985, his parents are visiting him in prison. Nanette is his... Nettie, they call her, is visiting him in prison. It's at the California Men's Colony. They were on a 72-hour family visit where they have like a trailer and all that type of shit. He attacks his mother. Inside the trailer.
His own mother.
He became angry because Carol, who he got married to, didn't come with his parents. So he grabbed his mother, choked her, covered her mouth, and dragged her into the bedroom of the visiting trailer they were in. She yelled for help, and the father came to her aid and saved her fucking life as the son was choking her and holding his hand over her mouth. Wow.
Because he didn't bring the wife.
Because they didn't bring his wife. So, now some people say he was a real nice guy.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Alex Martinez in jail with him at San Quentin. He said that he and another inmate, this is Alex and another inmate, found 2 homemade knives, found a couple of shanks in the chapel, and they took them to Phil, who worked as a clerk to the chaplain. And this Alex Martinez said that the other inmate hesitated to turn in the knives because they knew that was, it's kind of not good. You don't want to stay out of everything. But they said Phil immediately and without hesitation turned them right over to the chaplain, and wasn't like he was very by the book. Now, eventually, while he's in prison, Carol Spadani here decides she's not so much into this relationship anymore. She kind of wants to end it. She describes Phil to her friends as, quote, weird.
Yeah.
No shit.
He's a prisoner.
He's a fucking murderer. She told a friend also that she was afraid of him, which is probably smart. Now, summer of 1990, Ava Peterson, Carol's mother, telephones a guy named Richard Muniz. Muniz was a prison friend of Phil and met Peterson and Spadani through Phil. So they all know each other through this pen pal program. After his release from prison, Richard maintains a friendship with the 2 women. Okay. Now Ava Peterson asks Muniz to come to her house in Burlingame. By the way, that's where they live. Burlingame, California. Sound familiar? Yeah. And to pick up some belongings that Phil had left, and that Phil had sent to them in anticipation of his release on parole. Like, I'll send my shit ahead of time because I'm going to be moving in there. Ava told Muniz that they don't want him on her property and they're afraid of him. Of Phil, they're afraid he might harm them, and would you please take all this shit? Yeah. So this Muniz takes all of his stuff and stores them in his own garage. Now, around the same time, Spadani, Carol, talks to his future parole officer, because he's going to get out right away in fucking 12 years, which is crazy. There's a guy named Robert Paredes. Paredes is assigned to the Indio, California office in Riverside County, which is the most awful place on earth. Now, Philip asked to be allowed to live with Spadani in Burlingame, California, but Paredes informed Carol of this, and she said that she doesn't want him living there because she's afraid of him. So he's released in September 1990.
Oh, Jesus.
He was in Vacaville. He's released, or Vacaville, whatever it is. In connection with his release in September of 1990 here, the Department of Corrections had a program and a study and report. They noted him as a Category J psychiatric inmate who received treatment, including medication.
Jack the fuck up?
Yeah, it's fucking category jerk off. So he's got to take medication and seek, that's part of his parole. So the report noted that a staff psychologist was concerned about his parole and warned that although he's in remission, he could become actively psychotic at any time. He's a fucking time bomb, this guy.
What is it, cancer?
That's what I mean.
Remission?
He's in remission. He's in a cooling off period.
He's a lunatic.
He's full of shit, and he's trying to get out of prison.
Right.
That's remission.
Wow.
So he could
That is a fucking mental diagnosis.
He also said he could become actively psychotic, and it's like he's a volcano. At any time, shit could pop out of the top. We don't know.
Holy hell.
He says his original plan required him to seek mental health counseling. Ultimately, he ended up seeking counseling at Loma Linda VA Hospital. November 30th, 1990, a psychiatrist at the VA hospital named Dr. Sylvia Winters, and she'll talk to him a bunch over the months. She did an intake examination of him. He told her that in the previous month and a half, he'd been hearing voices and seeing faces just as he had before he killed Linda Kimball. So he's setting the groundwork for some schizophrenia shit here. He said that he had stopped taking his medication prescribed for him in prison, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
He said that helicopters flying above the motel where he lived at the time in a halfway house were making him nervous. Okay. He also told her he was having nightmares about a friend who had died in Vietnam in the crash of a helicopter on which he was the door gunner of. He blamed having a flashback in Vietnam for his attack on his mother at the men's colony.
Yeah.
He also blamed a Vietnam flashback for his murder of his wife at this point. Now, he just came up with that one 12 years later, 13 years later. He tells Dr. Winters that, quote, he thought his wife was a Vietnamese when he strangled her. So that's...
you should get out of this place,
you know what? We need you on the streets.
Right.
Society needs you. We're fucking hurting for you.
This is absurd.
Dr. Winters was aware of the circumstances surrounding this. She knew that 2 days prior to the murder, he'd been evaluated at the hospital and found neither to be homicidal nor suicidal and sent on his fucking merry way.
2 days before.
2 days before he murdered his wife.
And then somebody's dead.
A few days after he almost raped his mother-in-law.
Unbelievable.
And then he murdered her viciously. So she accepted his assurance, this doctor, that he did not feel like hurting anyone right now and that he would inform her if he did. I'll let you know. I'll tell my parole officer because I want to be put back in prison. She diagnosed him as a schizophrenic and made an additional provisional diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder, prescribed him meds, referred him to a post-traumatic stress disorder, specialist for combat veterans, all that. She advised also this Nancy Whitney, who's a social worker attached to the team, the post-traumatic stress team, that she might take some precaution for her security when he arrives for his appointments, just in case he gets rapey. You never know. She also wrote to his parole officer and told him to be sure that Phil didn't sleep in the same room with others because of the possibility of a Vietnam flashback. He might freak out.
The man in a 48-hour window can go from lovey-dovey to fucking rapey of people closey. Like super close people to me.
Yeah, and then
I may rape and murder them.
Oh, right. Yeah. And a later search of his apartment after a bunch of shit happens here revealed medicine bottles full of his psych meds that he wasn't taking.
Oh, boy.
So he's released from prison. You gotta let this guy out. The Muniz guy picked him up from jail. Muniz also told him that, oh, by the way, your mother-in-law there, Ava, gave me all your shit and, said that you're not allowed and they're afraid of you and shit. So Phil spends the weekend with Muniz in Sacramento, and then Muniz puts him on a bus to Indio.
Yeah.
The bus to Indio, I said. That's right. Wow, he should have blew his fucking brains out right there and saved us all a lot of trouble.
Saved a weekend with him, 48 hours.
Yeah. And then sent him on a bus to Indio.
Okay.
So he meets with Paredes, his parole officer, and basically he tells Phil about all the conditions, that he's forbidden to travel more than 50 miles from his residence without permission, and he's forbidden to go to Burlingame. Stay the fuck out of Burlingame. They don't want you there. He's pissed.
Yeah.
Phil is pissed. And he said, pardon me? Yeah. I didn't know that. That was part. They said, oh yeah, you can't go to Burlingame. He's fucking livid. So obviously he wants to go there and right some wrongs.
Right.
So, cause Carol and her mother live in Burlingame. So, they also required him to participate in a counseling program and all that type of shit. He got in a program at Loma Linda. Christmas 1990, he asks his parole officer for permission to visit Muniz and Sacramento and get a driver's license.
Yeah.
So he gives him permission, but only after the parole officer calls Carol Spadani and informs her that he'll be in Northern California.
He's going to be driving by.
He'll be an hour 45 away. That's why I picked Sacramento as a place. And she said, that's fine, whatever, as long as he's not allowed here, that's fine. So, so they said, don't go near San Mateo County. He says, I won't. He spends a week with Muniz. Phil does. He complains to Muniz that Spadani, that his wife there, Carol, was, quote, listening to her mother, and that Peterson, the mother, was interfering with his plans to move to Sacramento where he felt he could get a better job.
Don't you remember you told her that one day you're going to rape and
sodomize her? Don't forget sodomize.
Oh, Jesus.
He's very upset. Muniz just says, well, why don't you appeal to the Department of Corrections parole people? I don't know I can't solve your fucking problems. I'm on parole too. So he returns from Sacramento with a driver's license and a 65 Ford Fairlane.
Eesh.
Interesting.
It's a cool car,
It's kind of a cool car. Yeah. January 1991, he enrolls in automotive classes at a local community college. This is part of his parole, is he has to enroll in some classes. So he takes an automotive class.
You wonder why community colleges are a fucking joke?
Yeah, this guy's there. While he's taking these classes, he befriends another student named Jim Lawrence. Jim Lawrence, he says that Phil would tape record the class sessions, the whole thing. Okay. Would tape record them, I guess, listen to them later. He does a lot with that tape recorder. That's a little foreshadowing for later on. Oh, there's plenty on the tape recorder. He describes Phil as, quote, very intelligent, which not by his writing, but whatever. Spring of 91, a Dr. Charles Sprague, who's a psychiatrist at the VA hospital, meets with him and does a medication check. He said, Phil said that his mood was okay, and they said that the observations of the doctor were consistent with that, said he seemed fine. Phil told the doctor he wasn't experiencing any symptoms consistent with his normal shit. He denied wanting to hurt anyone, reported no problems with anger or irritability or anything like that. He claimed he's taking his medicine. So this doctor read the other doctor's report and had a, quote, higher level of suspicion than ordinarily he would with a person, assessing themselves. But he said that he looked for anything that might call for involuntary commitment, but found nothing to justify it. He was acting fine, even if he wasn't fine. So at this point, a Janet Flanagan and her husband, they managed a hotel where Phil lived in the spring of 91. They said that he acted like a normal person, never showed any signs of being mentally ill. No one was ever like, ooh, that one guy in 2F is fucking weird. Like, nobody ever said that. He told them that he had plans to, quote, move up north. That's all he said, which is what he keeps trying to do. He told this Flanagan that he was going to get his wife to write a, quote, lying letter saying she would move with him to Sacramento and then he could just start a new life without her. Okay. So he's saying that's the plan, is to get Carol to lie. Get a letter to just, you owe me a letter, I guess. I don't know what the fuck that does. So this Whitney, the psychiatrist here, saw him the next 4 months every 2 weeks over that time. Her working diagnosis was post-traumatic stress disorder, and when she saw him on April 4th, 1991, he complained about an increase in nightmares, which is not good for someone that has that. Sometime around April 18th, Phil finds out from Lawrence, the guy from the automotive class, that through normal conversation, that Lawrence owned a small gun. He just had a gun. So Phil says, well, if you're not using it, I'll buy it off of you.
Oh, boy.
Now, initially, this Lawrence guy declined, but I guess a couple days later, he changed his mind. I don't know if he needed money or if he was like, I don't use this fucking thing. Why don't I just, what do I have it? Right. So he sold it for him. It was an RG-14 revolver.
I don't know.
And I don't know what that is. And he sold him bullets with it, too. Okay. So he was, obviously, he knows he's not supposed to have a gun, being a convicted felon on parole for violent crimes. So, on April 22nd, Phil tells his instructor in the auto class, a guy named John Tamalunas, not that it matters, he tells him that he will not be in the class the next day because he's got a doctor's appointment. So that's April 22nd. He said, I won't be in class the next day. I won't be in class the next day, but I'll be in class the day after that. Don't worry. So this John Talamunis saw Phil again on the evening of April 22nd with another student. A student named Fatima Van, who is a recently widowed mother of two who goes by Fanny Hansen. That's what she calls herself because it sounds It's more Americanized, basically. Yeah. So April 23rd, he's supposed to be back in class. He does not show back up for class. No? Phil does. And problem is, Fanny Hansen never shows back up for class either.
Oh, no.
And that's where we got to leave it off.
Oh, boy.
Until next week. And we'll find out what is happening with these people.
Jesus.
And, Carol and her mother, and they're lying in wait. And we'll find out what happens here and what happens after that, because that's...
More?
It's even crazier.
Jesus Christ.
Part 2 is as crazy as part 1. I got to tell you guys that. Wild, it's just fucking crazy. The spree he goes on is insane.
Good for you guys for hanging in with this.
Wow. That was tough. Thank you guys for hanging in there with that. That's a tough episode. So the information's crazy, and I mean, I'm sure you've heard worse.
Vicious.
But it's a crazy one. Yeah. This one's absolutely batshit. So yeah, if you like that, you're a sick fuck, and we love you for it anyway. But give us 5 stars on iTunes or wherever you review things. It really does help the show a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com and you can get all things shutupandgivememurder.com-ish.
Right.
You can get small town murder stuff and crime and sports stuff and merchandise, tickets to live shows.
Shit, yes.
February 21st, next week.
The West Palm Beach Improv.
Baby. West Palm Beach, Florida. We're going to come down there and sweat it out in the humidity and kill giant large bugs and everything else.
Sit on a beach and drink Corona.
We can't wait. We're going to be there. Buy tickets to that. Get that. Come see us. Also, you can follow us from there on social media.
Right.
Very easy to do that. You can follow us. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and follow us because there's going to be a bunch of pictures that this guy draws later where we're gonna post some of this shit too. They're fucking sick. He makes Gacy look like a normal, adjusted human being.
Amazing.
So we're going to show some of those. So follow us there. If you want to be a hero of ours and be one of our producers who we're going to talk about in just a moment, who are really, honestly, we just can't thank them enough. They're the lifeblood of our show. You can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports or heading over to PayPal and using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com, to make a one-time donation. And guess what? You can get to those links right from our website.
Yeah, the one over shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's the one.
And unlike Aziz Ansari, we have always been grateful for everything
we're very
you guys
grateful.
have sent us.
Appreciate everything. And Jimmy, why don't you tell us the list of the people who we goddamn appreciate the most this week? Hit me with it now.
This week's executive producers are Leslie the Irish Witchwatch? No. Leslie the Irish Wristwatch. Damn it. Leslie the Irish Witch. I'm not going to do it.
She did that on purpose, I think.
Jeffrey Anderson donated for Christmas, and
wow.
I apparently missed it. I know I got his name
in
there,
brother.
But I didn't get Leslie. So Leslie the Irish Witchwatch. What in the fuck? Why is that
Leslie,
so hard?
With the hard name.
Happy birthday. No, Merry Christmas. That's
Merry
what it was
Christmas.
for. That's what they wanted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
And I blew it.
Well,
Leslie Henderson, because I can't say...
Washer.
Happy Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Joshua Keller, Don Iverson? Is that yes?
Alan's brother?
I think so.
Good.
It's a girl. Actually, it's a
Alan's
DAW.
sister.
Yeah, it might be his brother, and they just spelled it like a lady.
Alan's
I don't
estranged wife.
Just Z. Shannon Russell, Brian Price, Jefferson Suchman Shelley Vanderberg donated twice on Patreon, and then over on PayPal. That's the one.
Wow.
Thank you very, very much.
You.
And Nicole Trudeau. You guys really make everything.
You really help.
It's really impressive, and we can't thank you guys enough. Thank you.
We're blown away by it, and we're just thank you so much, honestly, for everything.
Monique Con Nguyen, it's the Asian Nguyen. Right, that's the one.
Yeah.
Is that Asian Gwyn? I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you don't. You don't have any idea what you're doing.
Appleberry Pocky, Hunter Perry, Jordan Bennett. She's getting tattoos like crazy, and then having the tattoo artist listen to us while it happens.
Well, thank you.
Pretty badass.
Spread the word.
Kelly McAlpine, Thomas Smith, Rick Sikorsky, Patty Trifone, James Martyr. I don't know if it's somebody calling you a martyr or if that's just their name.
Fuck it.
James Grell. No, Kim Grell. Jesus, what?
I'll jump on that grenade, bitches.
Kim Grell, Ross Lavsa, John Nagel, Dave Jocelyn, Ken Slattery, Kate Watson, Jacob Harshman, you're gonna like this. The Lino Lakes Pronunciation Fund in support of Willamette or Willamette.
That's clever.
Take that.
I like it. That's clever.
Aaron with no last
fucking
name.
Cocksuckers.
Chris Courier, Keith Cole, Mitchell Crittenden, Jesse Hartman, Justin Miller, Daryl Donahue, Philip Close. Philip, is that you?
What's with all this gun, man?
Philip, you changed, man.
Changed.
Brendan Abels, Janice Hill, Adam Cummings, Heather Williams, Ruth Ejankowski, I think that's right, Matt Sledge, Stacy Langto, Mojave, John Mott, Andy Coates, Anthony Canella, Jake Martinez, Jamie Pfluger, which... That's a tough one. I think I got it right, though. Krista Walker, Bailey Cox. That just sounds like something from a Dr. Seuss book. Jamie Julian, times 2, so she donated twice. Thank you, Jamie.
Shit, appreciate it.
Sarah Kunkel, no, it's Nukel. What is that?
Knuckle?
I think it's Nukel. Damn it. Kinkle? Canucle.
Canucle.
D with
Knuckle?
D, just D.
D. Appreciate
the letter D. Gary Howard, Christy. Yes, Christy Larson, Autumn Talley, Patrick Cunningham, Haley Marble, Ben Scarnage, Scranage. I'm so dumb.
I love it.
Valerie.
Awesome.
Valerie Vega or Vegia. I put like an I there. Shit, it might be Vega. Devin Letko, Valerie Galloway, Matt Dietrich, Sherry Sonis or Sovis. I don't know if I put a V or an N. I think it's Sovis. I think that's right. That Abigail Manning, Tara Jenkins, James Lear, Jessica with no last name, Panhandle Games, Kevin Gately, Sophia Trick, and Erica Zalinardo.
Hey.
Yep, got it.
Hey.
Regina Kudajarov, Lisa Beans, Rachel Storr, who also sent me a birthday card. Thank you. And you guys send in birthday cards. It's incredible.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Really nice.
Taisha McPherson, Ruiz, it's Russ Linderman, Shantae.
Tried to make him Spanish.
Shantae Wright, Leslie Woodruff, Ben Moore, Melissa Moss, James Hires, Laura Mickelson, Kimberly Vautour, Janet Home. I think that's right. Antonio Meneses, Lauren Demarath checking in. Thank you, Lauren. Megan Allen, Elise Carter, Tess Devine, Sam Wade, Yoma Mapus.
Whoa.
I don't know if that's supposed to be dirty or if that's just, I don't know what that
dirty.
is. It does. Reagan Shalkley, Ty Yeager, Beth Byer, Tina Elder, No Ruiz, Corey Taylor, Miriam Lene Hale, Brian Whitney, and Jacqueline Osborne. I'm an idiot. Thank you guys so much for making me look real dumb today.
Thank you, everybody, for everything you do for us, for hanging through weird shit, for laughing at our craziness, and for everything you do for us and give to us. Jimmie, what if they wanted to do for you? How could they find you to tell you that?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Facebook's just about full, so you guys can find me on Twitter or on Instagram, whatever. Thank you guys so much for everything. It's fucking mind-blowing. It really is incredible to see how much this means to you guys, and believe me, it means that much to us. So thank you.
Absolutely.
What about you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or you can just copy and paste my last name from the show description. Don't be a hero, and just do it that way. Look us up like that. And guys, we can't thank you enough. Honestly, we really, really can't. This was a tough episode. We understand, but it gets crazier. So come back next week for part 2 on all of this. And until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
This is your before and after story. Southeastern College can help you prepare for a secure and fulfilling career in the growing healthcare field. We offer a wide range of careers to choose from, so whether you want to be a medical assistant, medical billing and coding specialist, nurse, surgical technologist, or another healthcare career, we've got you covered. Become a vital part of a healthcare team and make a real difference. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.